Resort. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-887-1010. 800-887-1010.
For years now, people have been switching their wireless service to Pure Talk to save money. Just $20 a month, you get unlimited talk and text and tons of data. But more people are switching to Pure Talk, a veteran-owned company, to support the America's Warrior Partnership and their mission to help prevent veteran suicide. To make the switch, dial pound 250, say the keyword SAVE NOW, and you'll be connected to Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team. Make the switch, same service, save money, help vets, pound 250, keyword SAVE NOW.
Hungary's prime minister is in Ukraine for talks. Viktor Orban's first visit since Russia invaded in 2022. Orban's considered Russian President Vladimir Putin's closest ally in Europe, and Hungary has sometimes blocked or delayed European assistance to help Ukraine in the war. Of course, the U.S. and NATO keep bolstering Ukraine defense. Next week, the military alliance holds a 75th anniversary summit in Washington.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says the city is ready to host 37 world leaders and hundreds of delegates.
The summit has been designated a national special security event.
D.C. officials are working with the Secret Service, the FBI, and others, planning for all possible eventualities. However, FBI intelligence analyst Nikki Flores says so far, there is good news.
We are not tracking any credible threats to the events themselves.
Protests are expected concerning a number of potential issues. Metropolitan Police Department Chief Pamela Smith says,
"We promote First Amendment activities and free speech, but we will not tolerate any violence."
The summit runs July 9th through the 11th. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Days after a shark attack in Hawaii killed a famous surfer and actor Tamayo Perry. A shark sighting is making people nervous, prompting warning signs.
The 12-foot-long shark was spotted swimming 30 yards from a breakwall along Oahu's south shore. Beachgoers are being advised to check in with lifeguards before entering the water. This even though Honolulu Emergency Services has labeled the shark non-aggressive. They say there have been no reports of injuries or attacks. That being said, tiger sharks are known for being extremely aggressive and have often been known to attack humans. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are falling after gains to start July. The Dow rose 50 points, the Nasdaq surged up 146. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM, News Time 6:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. This update brought to you by Wheelock Disposal, local, reliable, affordable trash service. We have some clouds and fog, but otherwise sunny skies. We'll see a high in the low 80s today. Right now, 52 degrees. Your full weather forecast is coming up. Protests continue following the shooting death of a 13-year-old boy in Utica. Yesterday, roughly 100 people went to Utica City Hall to express their anger over the shooting of Niam Way on Friday night. Way ended up being shot during a struggle with police following a foot chase on Shaw Street. Officials claim that Moy pointed what appeared to be a gun at officers, but it turned out only to be a pellet gun, a replica Glock. The state attorney general's office is now looking into the tragedy. 3 people are facing charges for their alleged roles in a road rage dispute in DeWitt. Last week, 27-year-old Miguel Rosario and 20-year-old James Rosario were in a vehicle that was chasing a Jeep. James Rosario opened fire from the passenger seat and ended up striking that vehicle. Following the shooting, 30-year-old Jose Rosario Otero intentionally slammed his vehicle into the Jeep. James Rosario is the only one of the suspects still in custody. This is the second road rage incident in as many weeks in the upstate New York area. A Rome man and woman were arrested on burglary charges. According to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, deputies conducted a routine check of area businesses and noticed an occupied vehicle near an open storage unit at Colonial Shelf Storage. Authorities say they found 30-year-old Lindsay Orlowski sleeping in the car with 2 children. They later found 33-year-old James Calazio Jr. inside the open unit, which did not belong to them. Both were charged with felony third-degree burglary, 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child, and criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree. An alien man was arrested on multiple grand jury indictment warrants in Utica. Police say the Oneida County Sheriff's Office alerted authorities they were following 22-year-old Eric Magana in the city, who is wanted on charges of selling and distributing narcotics in the city. Magana was stopped by authorities and arrested without incident. He was charged with third-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell. Motor vehicle fatalities in New York are up to the highest level in a decade. That's according to a new report released by the Office of the State Comptroller, which analyzed the latest data from 2022. It showed that motor vehicle fatalities rose statewide 25.8% from 2019 to 2022. It also showed the capital region had the second highest rate in the state with 10.7%. New York City had the lowest with 2.9%. And it has been announced that the fireworks and party in the park that is scheduled for 4th of July has been postponed due to events in the city of Utica. We will speak with Vince Scalise to talk about that and get an update in just a few hours. It is 6:08. Your weather forecast is brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. For today, we will see mostly sunny skies with a high in the low 80s. Cloudy skies overnight with a low in the low 60s. Tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies yet again with highs in the mid to upper 80s. Full 5-day forecast anytime at WIBX950.com. Right now, we're at 52 degrees under clear skies at 6:09. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43 local contractors. The Mets snapped their two-game skid with a 9-7 win over the Nationals in 10 innings. Jake Diekman was credited with his second victory of the year after pitching a scoreless inning of relief. Reed Garrett secured his fourth save of the season after recording the final out of the game. Jose Iglesias and J.D. Martinez each went deep in the win. New York is now third in the NL East at an even 500. They'll continue their four-game series tonight at Nationals Park. The Yankees begin a 6-game homestand tonight. The Yanks will look to collect their second straight victory when they host the Cincinnati Reds at Yankee Stadium. Right-hander Luis Gil, who has struggled of late, is slated to make his 17th start of the season. He enters 9-3 with a 3.15 ERA and 99 strikeouts over 85-plus innings pitched. New York is currently tied with Baltimore atop the AL East at 54-32. A former NFL head coach is facing an uphill battle in his lawsuit against the league. Former Las Vegas Raiders coach John Gruden lost a bid for the Nevada Supreme Court to reconsider whether a contract interference and conspiracy lawsuit should be heard in court or in private arbitration. Gruden's lawyers wanted the rehearing after a 3-justice panel split in a May 14th decision that said the league can force a civil case out of state court and into arbitration. Gruden's lawsuit alleges that the NFL forced him to resign by leaking racist, sexist, and homophobic emails that he had sent years earlier when he worked as an analyst at ESPN. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 6:10. First News with Keeler in the Morning is next. We do have a guest host this morning, and that is Mr. Tim Reed. He will be in with us for the morning. We have a lot to get into, and we will discuss several things and talk to several people. We also may have a little bit of a surprise guest this morning as well, but we will not reveal that until later. Bill, of course, is getting himself healthy and getting himself treatment for his leukemia diagnosis. So we will be back with Bill live shows a week from yesterday, Monday morning. And we are seeing Mr. Tim Reed make his way in studio right now. So we'll get him settled in, take a quick break, and then we will begin the program here on First News with Keeler in the Morning and WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Summer's greatest hits are going on now, and Macy's July 4th sale has summer's greatest savings, like 20 to 60% off warm weather styles to refresh your look. Shop amazing limited time specials like swim and cover-ups for your next beach day, 50% off. And sandals from On 34th, Tommy Hilfiger, and more, 30 to 40% off. Going on now at Macy's. Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. Savings off already reduced prices, exclusions apply.
There's an issue cutting through the bipartisan bickering in Congress. It's AM radio. The overwhelming majority of legislators, Democrats and Republicans, support a bill to keep AM radio in cars. But time is running out. Text AM to 52886 and ask Congress to bring this bill to the floor for a vote now. AM radio is too important to let this moment pass us by.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Only we have the Mattress Express brand name low price guarantee. If you purchase a mattress from us and see it advertised cheaper locally in the next 30 days, we simply refund the difference. Don't overpay for your next mattress. Come to Mattress Express.
Aches and pains aren't trophies. They're just barriers keeping pros like you from getting the work done. You know this business can be back-breaking. All the more reason to partner with someone who has your back, like Clinton Tractor and Ferris Commercial Mowers. Ferris is about helping you finish strong and feel good doing it, with patented suspension technology that allows you to mow faster and get more work done in comfort so you can feel good tomorrow. Visit Clinton Tractor today or at clintontractor.net. Ferris, work hard, feel good.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the Utica Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Hi, Jim Bono, your guide to all things happening in Herkimer County. It's all unfolding in Herkimer County. Explore the scenic Adirondacks or take a boat tour along the historic Erie Canal. Do you have a business or event to promote? Reach out to Herkimer County Government Facebook page. We're here to showcase the heart and soul of this incredible county. Whether you're a local or just passing through, come to Herkimer County, where history, commerce, and beauty collide. It's happening in Herkimer County.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Boom, boom, boom. Good morning, Tim Reed. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
How are you?
Oh, it's great. It's early.
It is.
You know, the morning comes early, I've read.
First News Keeler in the morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time. Oh, I don't know. I've got into the habit of saying that. It is 6:20. You're streaming everywhere. You can bring your smartphone, either the WIBX 950 mobile app, or you can stream us on YouTube. Right now, we've got to just do that, and here we go. We're live. We are live. So thank you so much for once again joining me. As you know, our fearless leader, our host with the most, Bill Keeler, is getting himself taken care of, his first real week of treatments for his cancer. So we're thinking of him, and I appreciate you stepping in.
Glad to do it. I saw, did you see Dick Vitale just got diagnosed for the 4th time?
I know. He's a strong man, and he's very supportive of the Jimmy V Foundation. Who was a college coach. For those who are not familiar with Jimmy V, he was a college coach that battled cancer and was who had given one of the most compelling speeches I think anyone's ever heard of with regard to fighting cancer and being brave with it. And
right.
The iconic speech. I think it was at the ESPY Awards, correct?
Yes, it was.
And then Stuart Scott of ESPN, who was, for all intents and purposes, a very healthy person. He was diagnosed with cancer. Not many people knew it, but he was a popular name at ESPN for a long time. He, too, I think, gave a speech similar to Jimmy V. So now Dick Vitale, who is a big name in college basketball. So it just reiterates the mission that you and Bill started. God, when was it now? How long have you been at this?
So it's interesting. I had something pop up on my memories for photos or whatever it was, and it was 6 years this week that I was down at Sloan Kettering. So, yeah.
So the Real Men Get Tested campaign probably began right around that time.
It did. So, yeah, I mean, I think, as in many things in life, positive attitude really is important. It certainly doesn't hurt. So.
No, it does not. And Bill has been very positive through this, and he has a good support system, much like you had a good support system.
Absolutely.
And that's the important thing is, I think in talking to anybody about getting screened for tests, we can't forget that women should get their regular mammograms and tests in regards to that. But I think for men, too, they need to realize that it's important to get the tests, but it's important to know that your family will be there for you through it all.
And that's why you want to do it, because, I mean, really, to a large extent, you're doing it for your family. You want to be there for those special moments in their lives, or, whether it's weddings, grandchildren, all those sorts of things. I mean, what would you pay to be able to experience it, one more time?
Yeah,
right? I mean,
without a
priceless.
doubt.
So
yeah. And it's always hard news to hear. For us, it was very difficult to learn about Bill's now second diagnosis, but he's in a good place and he is fighting hard, and we wish him well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
We started out kind of heavy here, didn't we?
well, here's the thing, and people are probably asking, why the heck are you playing Bang the Drum? It is Tuesday. Davey, can you shed a little bit of light on that? Why we're playing Bang the Drum this morning?
Because we're not, after tomorrow, me and you and I are not going to be here until Monday.
That's right. So we got some awesome 4th of July specials.
3 from Fox on Thursday, best of tomorrow and Friday.
So we'll have best of Wednesday and Friday, and we'll have some really awesome Fox News specials for the 4th of July holiday. Speaking of, the city of Utica, combined with the Utica Center for Development, has announced that they will be, in fact, postponing the fireworks and party in the park, due to the recent events that occurred on Friday with Niam Way being shot by a Utica police officer. Still a lot of unanswered questions. More protests happening at City Hall yesterday. It is a situation that will not get any easier as time goes on, but and may get worse before it gets better with regard to community relations between the community and police. We can only hope that at some point, as many people were echoing yesterday, hopefully this is something that can ultimately bring the community together. Right. So they did decide that the fireworks and party in the park that would have taken place I believe they were going to do it at Proctor Park, is going to be postponed until a later date. The parade will happen as scheduled. That is going to be on Thursday, starting at 10 a.m. at St. Elizabeth Hospital, and it will end at the Parkway Rec Center. So the parade is still going on, but the fireworks and the party in the park will be postponed until a later date. And we will speak with Vince Scalise of the Utica Center for Development to get all the details on that. Also this morning, big news yesterday, Mr. Tim Reed, from the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Some people very happy, some people very not so happy.
Well, I think, each side's going to spin it the way that it certainly fits best for them. We've just seen so much... so much court stuff going on these past kind of few years or whatever it is. I do wonder that, if we look back in our history of, 248 years or whatever it is, that, potentially there probably could have been presidents that could have been brought up on, some sort of charges in some way, shape, or manner.
You can think back to FDR placing Japanese people in internment camps around World War II. That may have been something that was an official act that could have been prosecuted. There are a number even as far back as maybe President Bush, official acts, doing what he did in Iraq and Afghanistan, getting us into that war.
Maybe, Kennedy with the Bay of Pigs in Cuba. It's a pretty dirty business.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court is as good as their latest ruling, right? So you have people coming out and criticizing them and saying they're extreme. They're not extreme, allowing the prescription pill for abortion, but they are extreme now in this. So, and I think that's somewhat the job of the Supreme Court, and that they're not always going to make everybody happy. I think for the most part, they try to look at the Constitution and make their rulings based on that. Obviously, you do have some of the rulings that come down along the lines of the person that put them in power. But there was some dangerous rhetoric that was occurring yesterday. I know one person said, oh, great, now President Biden, and I'm summarizing here, President Biden could now send SEAL Team 6 to take out the Supreme Court and President Trump. Not something you probably want to be tweeting out. And I understand people's frustration. And I still do believe that this ruling does not totally absolve Trump from his charges.
It does not. And could well, things could pop back up to the Supreme Court too. The other thing is that I always get very nervous about when the court systems are focused, especially the Supreme Court, certainly, when they make a ruling in regards to it, that you need to understand that once these rulings take place, they take place not necessarily for the former president or the current president, but the presidents that are going to be
of the future.
Of the future,
yeah,
as well.
That is an interesting element to this.
That's something you've got to think about is be very careful of what you ask for sometimes. So
100%. So we will see how this will affect the trial in Florida. And we will speak with Ryan Schmelz. Now, is he on right now? Okay, so we're actually going to be talking to Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio, who, I know people are irritated with me talking about this, but Ryan is an Orioles fan, so we won't hold that against him. We've got a Red Sox fan back in the studio here, Ryan. So
yeah, listen, I love you guys because you're the proxy forces against the Yankees.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a great team this year, actually. So
yeah, then we'll be trying to exact our revenge on the Red Sox this weekend, and then the Orioles next weekend. So we'll get right into this, Ryan. I don't know if you've heard much of our conversation, but definitely some people divided on their happiness and anger with regard to the ruling that came down yesterday, some dangerous rhetoric being spewed about. Give us a wrap-up of what happened with the Supreme Court and its rulings yesterday, specifically with regard to the Trump immunity issue.
Right. So the Supreme Court gave Donald Trump a massive victory yesterday. The move by the conservative court, was highly anticipated. It now says that the former presidents do enjoy wide-ranging immunity for their official acts while in the White House. And this was something that was praised by a number of Republicans and, of course, praised by former President Trump himself. Whereas on the Democrat side, this was something that saw significant pushback to the point now that we're seeing New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying she's going to file articles of impeachment when Congress gets back. You have another Congress member saying they're going to introduce a resolution to overturn the Supreme Court decision. And, of course, you have a number of Democrats like Richard Blumenthal and Dick Durbin who have said that this is kind of renewing their push to have a Supreme Court ethics code, because one thing that stood out for Durbin, who's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee and also, I believe, the number 2 highest ranking Democrat in the Senate, he pointed out that this was something that he felt Alito and Thomas, the 2 justices, should have been recused from because of their connections, at least alleged connections, to January 6 protesters in terms of Alito flying flags that were symbolic or used by January 6 protesters, and then also Justice Thomas's wife and some of the connections she had to the Stop the Steal movement.
Yeah, it's interesting. The decision probably still would have been 4-3 had they recused themselves. This still would have happened. So I don't know if that really matters in the grand scheme of things. I know one of those flags had flown above the, City Hall in San Francisco for 70 years. I understand there's the frustration there, but this is the Supreme Court's job in a way, and it also does hearken to the fact that elections have consequences. But kind of what's the fallout from here? So where does the case go? I do believe there's some business about it being sent back down to the lower courts. Explain that for us.
Yeah, and that's the big thing here, because now that this is being sent back down to the lower courts to decide, I think the thought is that this almost guarantees that a trial in Jack Smith's criminal prosecution of former President Trump is not going to happen before Election Day. So what this is going to do is, first of all, the obvious one is that it's going to delay this, but 2, this is going to take Donald Trump out of the courtroom and allow him to be on the campaign trail, which was always going to be a huge concern when these criminal cases started coming down. No matter how bad the case was, the thought was that he was going to have to be in the courtroom when he should be on the campaign trail, especially in the heart of campaign season. Well, now Donald Trump's going to be able to spend a lot more time on the campaign trail, a lot less time in the courtroom.
Yeah. Well, I think somebody on one of the Fox talk shows, maybe Jimmy Fallon or Brian Kilmeade yesterday, was talking about the fact that may have done him some good to be in the courtroom, as the hush money trial, as they call it, actually helped boost his poll numbers a bit. So.
And someone pointed out too that all the press attention was on that trial. So pretty much he got to have a campaign rally just about every single day outside the courtroom when the cameras were waiting for him to talk. So yes, this has kind of been a big debate in Washington, right? And just across the country do these criminal trials help him or hurt him? We certainly do know that they helped him in the primary. I don't think there's any question about that. He got to eat up all the airtime.
Yeah.
He got the fundraise off it, and the other candidates kind of got lost in the shuffle. But when it comes to the general election, this is something that we're probably not going to have an answer to until Election Day, which is, does this help him with suburban voters? Does this help him with independent voters? Does this help him with Democratic voters who might be weary on President Biden? So that's going to be the big question that we do not have answered right now, is how does this do these trials impact those voters in a positive way or a negative way? And that's kind of one of those questions we probably won't have answers to until later.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario. Sorry, Tim, I'll get to you in 1 second. But it's an interesting scenario that on one side we have a presidential candidate that is marred with court cases and investigations and indictments, and then the other one who, especially after last Thursday's debate performance, can't complete a full sentence, it seems. We're talking to Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio. Tim Reed.
So, Ryan, what put on your prediction hat, what do you think is going to happen July 11th in regards to Trump and what the judge is going to give him in regards to the case down in New York?
Oh, yeah, no, that's past my pay grade. But I do believe I can say that I believe Fox did just confirm a New York Times story that says that former President Trump is trying to delay the sentence, and they are citing this Supreme Court case with presidential immunity as a reason for them to be allowed to delay this case. So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Well, the interesting thing there is that the all of the issues that happened with regard to Stormy Daniels happened prior to him being president. So I don't know how that would really apply to that case, but I guess you should try everything.
Yeah. Well, I think if we're talking about jail time, you are talking about it will be pretty explosive.
Yeah. Well, and it just depends. It depends on the based on the debate circumstances now, and this Supreme Court ruling. Does that make Judge Marchand that much more apt to sentence him to jail time?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. It's hard to really draw any comparisons to it because we've really never seen too much of a president on trial like this. So we'll just have to wait.
Why is it every day now it says like we've never been here before, and then the following day we've never been here before? It's like Groundhog Day
because we haven't.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, Ryan Schmelz, you're always a joy to talk to, and we thank you very much for everything, other than the fact that of course we're fans of rival teams, but that's okay. We can have some fun with it always.
There you go.
But go Mets, right?
No. Ryan Schmelz, Fox News Radio. Thank you. You have a wonderful day. Always appreciate your reporting and insight. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Have a good one.
All right, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News Radio. We will take a quick break. We have a lot still to get to on the program. We'll speak with Dr. Kent Hall. There was some reports of a new wave of COVID popping up with people being indoors for air conditioning and July 4th celebrations. I mean, I think at this point,
when does it go away? I mean,
it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yep.
It's here to stay.
Yeah.
So we'll get an update from him. And if he'll share, he had an interesting experience. It's nice now that Dr. Hall is retired because it seems he's opened up to us a little bit more about what he does in his everyday life. And he is a hobbyist photographer who is quite good, and he has shared with me some of the photography that he engaged in last week. He was in the state of Maine photographing the great moose.
Ooh.
So we'll get into that a little bit with
Utica
him.
University?
No. He fears that moose. He fears that moose. We'll also talk to a local native, G. Swiss. Eugene is an actor, and he is from the Utica area. He's also a musician, and he has done a wonderful job lately of getting some pretty good gigs as far as his acting roles go, so we'll talk to him as well. Later in the program, we will speak to Utica Mayor Mike Galimi. He will be in this morning, and we'll talk to him a little bit about what went on Friday and Saturday with regard to the horrific incident, the shooting death of Naim Way in Utica. We'll speak to him about that and his recent conversations with the Korean community and how that's going and how this will impact the city going forward. And, of course, we'll speak to Vince Scalise of the Utica Center for Development. The news breaking last night that the fireworks in Utica and the party in the park that was scheduled for Thursday night in Proctor Park will be postponed to a later date. We'll get all of that and more coming up on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Each store independently owned and operated and not part of a chain or cooperative buying group.
Summer starts here at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford and Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer. We're featuring some wonderful summertime wines and canned cocktails to cool you down this season. Check out 19 Crimes Martha's Chardonnay, regularly $12.99, now just $7.99 while supplies last. Faro 13 Link Brut Rosé was $13.99, and we're blowing it out for $4.99. Yes, just $4.99. We love Made in New York Talkhouse canned cocktail 4-packs. Compare at $12.99, now just $10.99. And try our hand-picked Fratelli Prosecco, regularly $12.99, now just $9.99. And everyone's favorite Matua Sauvignon Blanc was $12.99 and now is just $10.99. Plus, mix and match wine cases are 20% off now through July 7th, 2024. Let your summer start at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford and Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. I'm Andrew Dominio filling in for Bill, and Tim Reed is filling in for me.
Yeah.
Theoretically, in the whole grand scheme of things.
And Davey is the only one that's the solid.
Davy's always
he is what
Davey.
he is.
So
you know, that's great. He's doing $1,000 today for the free money question. Did I hear him wrong?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, because
you heard me wrong.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh boy, I'd be out on
Mike will be waiting out there for you.
Speaking of the lawsuits, we would need the Supreme Court to save our lives.
Yep.
So that is not going to happen, but we will give away some money, hopefully, part of our free money question of the day that we do daily. We suspended it yesterday, Mr. Reed, in the in the wake of everything that we were discussing yesterday. So we will address that issue in some regard today, but not as heavily involved as we were yesterday. But I think it was essential that we spent a good chunk of the program yesterday talking about it, getting some guests in here to kind of unpack a lot of it. We will continue that conversation about the horrific incident that happened Friday in the city of Utica with Mayor Galimi a little bit later on in the program. We have reached out to a number of parties that are involved in the protests and that are seeking justice for this incident, but we have not heard anything back, so we will continue to try to get their voices heard at some point next week when Bill returns. And I want to thank everybody for bearing with me, because not having Bill, who is a seasoned veteran, and I've been in radio a while, but to sit in this seat to try to handle a situation like that has been a little bit difficult, but I know Bill would hopefully be happy with how I've done so far in handling this situation. So
I think you've done well.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So a couple of things we want to get into before the top of the hour here. You were mentioning that the women's soccer team, the men's soccer team, they lost yesterday.
1-0.
Yeah.
They're
so
out.
this is for now the Olympics haven't begun, right? Are these qualifiers?
This is so.
I don't follow soccer too much.
It's called the Copa. I don't know, David. Do you know what that stands for? The COPA. So it's basically North America.
Yeah.
Is playing it, and Europe is doing the same thing. The Eurozone. Now, I was actually asking my son, because I was trying to figure out is this the team that goes to the Olympics, and he said, no, actually the team that goes to the Olympics for the United States is a U18 team. So it's...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's always... It always fascinates me, kind of how they pick these teams,
right?
And how they pick the basketball teams. For a while, the Olympics would feature college level athletes.
Well, and that certainly was the big thing in hockey, right? When they played against the Soviet Union,
right? It was all college kids.
All in the Soviet Union were all big, professional-aged hockey players.
What is your take on the Al Michaels AI voice that's going to be doing a lot of the commentating or broadcasting for the Olympics? It's just a crazy realm and world we live in.
He's going to be doing updates on Peacock is what they're using him for.
So they're basically going to put his voice for the recaps so he's not, obviously, because it would be very difficult to do play-by-play.
He must have done it. There has to be a financial deal to this.
I would think so. I mean, he's probably, if I were him, I don't know that I would necessarily be opposed to it, but it's just an odd thing to me, right? I don't think he's that out of it as far as his age or abilities. I think he would still be. Why not just have him do the updates? I just don't understand it.
Well, I think all of it is kind of it's starting to merge with this NIL stuff in regards to image and likeness and things like that. I think this is really, we're going into kind of the bold new world. Who knows, 20 years from now or whatever it is, you're going to have somebody. It's like a hologram of someone doing.
Well, they already kind of did the hologram thing. Right? I think Tupac and. Elvis may live, in a new form,
Exactly.
And Davey will be really pumped up about that, to have Elvis come back. So, yeah.
We'll get a chance to be able to see that show at the odd that never occurred.
Yeah. Oh, the fateful almost would-be Elvis concert. That is a fascinating thing. There's so many odd facts about Utica that people don't know about, and if you didn't know, Elvis would have been performing here in Utica had he not took that fateful you-know-what on the toilet.
Exactly.
So, speaking of things that are legendary in Utica, you did hear maybe that Spilka's Hotel and Bar will be coming down.
Yes.
Several people taking to social media. We've got a story on our website, WIBX950.com right now. Many people taking to the social media platforms to discuss their memories of Spilkas. Maybe you've got a memory.
I do.
315-736-0186, 315-736-0186. Anything you want to talk about this morning, Tim and I will be eager to hear from you, and we'll take anybody's calls about anything. Just let Davey know I want to get on. But if you have a memory of Spilkas, go ahead and give it to us. Tim, talk about it.
So
legendary yellow building, the billboard.
When I was a youth, and this is back when the drinking age was 18 and not 21 or whatever. I mean, that was a classic place, one of the first places where you could go for clams. Spilkas.
Yeah, their deals, they had great deals. What was it? $3 clams and
beers. I don't know where the
and
clams came from, but probably the Barge
Mohawk
Canal.
River. Yeah,
exactly. But they were cheap. So, yeah. So, and they used to have that little porch out there in regards to where you could go. And it also, I remember it was a pretty big... That was a pretty big place for the hockey players. I think going back to the old Comets days in regards to that they'd meet there after the...
Yes, and actually it was a big hangout for one person that I will not reveal their name, but it is somebody that I know very well. There's a few different memories that were left on a Facebook page. So actually a good buddy of mine, Christopher Spilka, who I knew from my high school years, and he actually was involved with the Ride for Missing Children for a while. His mom, Linda, was very involved in the Ride for Missing Children for quite some time. Obviously, his namesake, Spilka. He was telling me that there's a combined time of about 50 years that either his father's father, his father, or his brother and father and uncle were owners and operators of Spilkas well before some of the things started to downturn.
Yeah.
I think they finally gave up ownership or control or some sort of involvement in the business in about the mid-90s. And, of course, everybody remembers the unfortunate incident back in 2009 that lost Spilkas their liquor license, the stabbing of Ambrose Smith, I believe his name was. That was a fight that broke out in the bar that led to a stabbing outside, and Ambrose Smith III was killed by Willie Reed of Utica. So that ultimately lost the liquor license for the bar part, and then back in 2022, it was still a building that had people in it for apartments, but 14 people were displaced following a fire in August of 2022. But it is official that Spilka's Hotel and Bar, that classic yellow building that you see on the arterial on Noyes and Stark, will be no longer.
Yep.
They've done a lot of clearing of buildings along the arterial. It just seems like, and this is kind of how I end the story, while many legendary, memorable Utica historical places have been eroded away, new buildings are being built to make new memories.
Right. I guess what, McQuaid and Badigan, I think, purchased it. I don't know what they're going to do with that
well, they'll
property.
probably use it for, storage is always an issue.
Exactly.
One of our mutual friends, Mary Shepard, needed a lot more space for her business, so she went on and took the opportunity to expand and get a bigger spot. So I'm sure McQuaid and Bannigan similarly will need the room for, storing the equipment or keeping, because I think they also have the lot across from their building as well that they store stuff there too. So definitely a sad day for Spilka's lovers. Oh, I was going to give you the comment, the memory of somebody, because we were talking about the athletics, the hockey players that would go there. Somebody very close to me, I won't mention their name, said, used to go there all the time after Utica Blue Sox games, sit outside even though I was underage. Shh, don't tell anyone. I would definitely get in trouble if I revealed this person. Another memory, that's sad. When I first moved to Utica, my roommate and I used to take our laundry and do our clothes while we were next door and had a couple drinks. Yeah. LOL. So the Tub of Suds laundromat, also part of the Spilka's building. One person writes, they only built that red deck a few years ago, and I thought it was going to open back up. That's too bad. And one person saying, during my Hamilton College days during the 50s, spent many an evening drinking UCs at Spilka's. Years later, married my late beautiful wife. So I think that they met maybe at Spilka's there. So
I didn't realize how old that building was. I mean, it was like over 100 years. I mean, it was
the building was very old,
back.
And then the business itself began, as Christopher told me, in the 50s.
Yeah,
is when the business began. So, We got a couple of short, dumb news stories for you here before we have to break. A 5-year-old girl was left on a school bus during summer school in Louisiana. Not particularly a cold place to be left on a bus. She was left on a bus for 5 hours. Here are her parents, Danielle and Raynard Roll, talking about what happened.
She didn't get breakfast. She didn't get lunch. She was on that bus in this hot heat for 5 hours. She walked up and down the bus. She was telling us she started crying and she stopped crying and she started praying to Jesus for Jesus to help her.
That's crazy. No child should have to go through that.
Thank God that Jesus was there to save the young lady. My only question is, that's a terrible story. A 5-year-old girl, luckily she was unharmed. She got out of the situation unharmed, but a 5-year-old child on a school bus on a hot summer day, was there no way for her to get out the door? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to pass judgment, but.
So when I used to have to take the school bus when I was like 6 or 7
Uphills both ways.
No,
right, yeah.
Well, I was the last one that they would let off, so I'd be on that bus for about 45 minutes. And if I'm in motion, I can fall asleep. I can fall asleep all the time. I would fall into such a deep sleep that the school bus driver would actually physically pick me up and carry me to the door of my house.
Dedicated service
that is
right there.
Dedicated service.
Wow, what a great man.
Exactly.
And so, one of the big stories, too, is this Utica girl. We want to get into Tim, I'll have to explain it to you off the air.
I am so
no, it's
social media deficient.
Just for the sake of not ruining anybody's breakfast, I'll have to explain to you who the Utica girl is. But since the Utica girl gained instant notoriety for her special technique, there have been a lot of rumors about her. Here she is in her first interview dispelling rumors that she deleted all of her social media when she became a meme, that she was fired as a teacher, and that her dad is a minister. Several rumors coming out. Here's a clip from her first interview since.
I deleted all my social media like 6 months ago due to like personal reasons. I never really got on it or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
But I was long gone before that.
Oh, so you were already gone from social media.
God. I worked in a spring factory. I'm not a school teacher.
That was my next question. So you weren't a teacher?
Or a bartender.
So I've heard rumors that your dad is a preacher?
My father is so far from a preacher. It's crazy. None of it's true at all.
So based on the technique that they're talking about, it's natural to think, wouldn't that be a good story if this was some preacher's daughter who decided to go bad? That is definitely not the case. And I think, though, even though she deleted her social media, the girl, who I think her name is Haley Wright, maybe, I might be getting that wrong, but she was immediately trying to take advantage of the memorabilia sales from her viral video. If you haven't heard about it, look it up. Hawktuah, HAWKTUAH. We won't address it on the air any longer, but I'll explain it to you in the break, which is coming up, and you can read about it yourself. But she is still gaining notoriety, still making money off memorabilia sales, and her method, well, I can't speak to that. More First News Keeler in the Morning coming up on WIBX.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the Utica Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
My Carl's 4th of July sale is spectacular. All-American money-saving celebration filled with incredible furniture values, low holiday prices. 2-piece sofa and love seats at some $5.99. Reclining sofas from $4.99. Bedrooms as low as $5.99. Queen mattress as low as just $1.99. I have hundreds of items in stock. Buy it today, have it today, or arrange fast delivery. Plus, all-American, no credit needed financing. Don't wait. Get to My Carl's 4th of July sale and save today.
Some things in life you can just rely on, like the faithful friend who always comes when you call, the paperboy who never misses a day, and the tried and true performance of a new Ruud Home AC system. So here's to reliability built into everything we do. Rely on us, your Ruud Pro partner, to get reliable cooling and comfort. For outstanding service, knowledgeable technicians, and dependable home comfort, contact Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning for all your heating and cooling home needs. Call 315-829-4100 or online at tri-countyheating.com.
More than 200 members of Congress are standing up for AM radio listeners. The AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act will keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome,
W295EI,
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Is the Supreme Court undermining the rule of law? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Biden says it is.
There are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent.
Reacting to the court's ruling that former presidents have immunity from prosecution for official acts while in office.
American people must decide if they want to entrust the president once again, the presidency, to Donald Trump, now knowing he'll be even more emboldened to do whatever he pleases whenever he wants to do it.
But in the 6-3 ruling, the court also ruled there's no immunity for unofficial acts. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the decision does not mean presidents are above the law. Former President Trump called the ruling a big win for democracy, and he posted on Truth Social early this morning. It's a high-level spanking, in all caps, for Jack Smith, who he calls deranged. The special counsel's 2020 election interference case against the former president is delayed by this immunity appeal, and
there are a number of reports this morning that former President Trump is already using this Supreme Court decision to try to set aside his criminal convictions in that New York business records case. Now, as far as that New York case against Trump is concerned, at the moment, sentencing is scheduled for next week.
Fox's Doug Luzader. Israel's ordered Palestinian civilians to leave Han Yunis, signaling a new offensive against Hamas in the Gaza City, where rockets were fired at Israel today. In Ukraine, a perhaps awkward meeting. Hungary's prime minister is there for the first time since Russia invaded.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has been reluctant to support Ukraine's military despite his country being part of the European Union and NATO. Orban is close to Russian President Vladimir Putin and believes Ukraine cannot win the war.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Beryl is now a Category 5 hurricane, the earliest one ever in the Atlantic. 165-mile-an-hour top winds. It did a lot of damage in Grenada, the Grenadines, and Barbados. At least 2 deaths reported. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-887-1010. 800-887-1010.
For years now, people have been switching their wireless service to Pure Talk to save money. Just $20 a month, you get unlimited talk and text and tons of data. But more people are switching to Pure Talk, a veteran-owned company, to support the America's Warrior Partnership and their mission to help prevent veteran suicide. To make the switch, dial pound 250, say the keyword SAVE NOW, and you'll be connected to Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team. Make the switch, same service, save money, help vets, pound 250, keyword SAVE NOW.
Former Trump White House advisor Steve Bannon will wake up behind bars for the first time.
I'm a political prisoner of Nancy Pelosi. I'm a political prisoner of Merrick Garland. I'm a political prisoner of Joe Biden and the corrupt Biden establishment.
That was when Bannon reported to a federal prison in Connecticut to serve a 4-month sentence for contempt of Congress, convicted for not cooperating with the House Democrat-led investigation into the 2021 Capitol riot. Now, House Republicans have also held Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress. And they went to court furthering their attempt to get Biden audio tapes from the classified documents probe that Garland is not handing over.
The House Judiciary Committee has officially filed a lawsuit against the Department of Justice, which has chosen not to comply with a subpoena requesting the agency turn over the audio recordings of President Biden's interview with special counsel Robert Hur. Republicans' calls for the tapes got even louder after President Biden's rocky debate performance last week. The interview was done as part of the DOJ's investigation into President Biden's mishandling of classified documents. Hur described the president as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Attorney General Merrick Garland has argued turning over the tapes could hurt witness cooperation in future investigations. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are down the day after gains to start the week. It's a big week for hockey and basketball fans, NHL and NBA free agency. The Boston Celtics making history. After winning the championship, they're signing Jason Tatum to a record contract, 5 years, $314 million. And
Boston Basketball Partners, LLC, the majority ownership group of the Celtics, intends to sell the team. The managing board of the ownership group expects to sell a majority interest in 2024 or early 2025, with the balance closing in 2028.
That's Joe Morgan. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time, 7:05. I'm Andrew Dominio. We have sunny skies, 56 degrees. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by Adirondack Home Furniture. Protests continued yesterday following the shooting death of a 13-year-old boy in Utica. Yesterday, roughly 100 people went to Utica City Hall to express their anger over the shooting death of Nia Mue on Friday night. Mue ended up being shot during a struggle with police following a foot chase on Shaw Street. Officials claim that Mue pointed what appeared to be a gun at officers, and it turned out to be a pellet gun, a Glock replica. The state attorney general's office is now looking into the tragic events. 3 people are now facing charges for their alleged roles in a road rage dispute in DeWitt. Last week, 27-year-old Miguel Rosario and 20-year-old James Rosario were in a vehicle that was chasing a Jeep. James Rosario opened fire from the passenger seat and ended up striking that vehicle. Following the shooting, 30-year-old Jose Rosario Otero intentionally slammed his vehicle into the Jeep. James Rosario is the only one of the suspects still in custody. This is the second road rage incident in as many weeks in upstate New York. The police department set up at Syracuse Hancock International Airport is now in need of a new chief. The Post-Standard reports Mark Werbeck recently stepped down from the role about 18 months ago after he was hired, or 18 months after he was hired. When it was first launched in March of 2023, the department had Werbeck, Captain Anthony Sobek, and 19 part-time officers. Sobek is now running the department operations until a new chief is hired. No reason has been made public for Werbeck's departure. A 13-year-old boy, a Rome man and woman were arrested on burglary charges. According to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, deputies conducted a routine check of area businesses and noticed an occupied vehicle near an open storage unit at Colonial Self-Storage. Authorities say they found 30-year-old Lindsay Orlowski sleeping in the car with 2 children. They later found 33-year-old James Colazzo Jr. inside the open unit, which did not belong to them. Both were charged with felony third-degree burglary, 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child, and criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree. And the U.S. Marine Corps is rebuilding a runway on the site of a nightmare World War II battle. An aircraft landed on the rebuilt runway on a Japanese airfield on the Pacific island of Pelelu. One of the Marines' bloodiest battles of the war is now potentially a U.S. basing option for China's strategy. A Marine Corps press release called it a significant and triumphant return to this iconic World War II site. Engineers worked to rebuild the runway for months by clearing brush and trees and making sure no unexploded ordnance was still there from the World War II battle. Definitely a scary thing that we need to have a presence in that part of the world due to possible threats from foreign actors. It is 7:08. Your weather forecast is brought to you by the new Destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. For today, we can expect sunny skies. Temperatures will be right around the mid-80s. We'll see cloudy skies overnight with a low in the low 60s. Then sunny skies return tomorrow with a high in the mid to upper 80s. You can always get the full 5-day forecast anytime at WIBX950.com. Right now, 56 and sunny at 7:09. Sports brought to you by IBEW Utica 43, local contractors. The Mets snapped their 2-game skid with a 9-7 win over the Nationals in 10 innings. Jake Dykman was credited with his second victory of the year after pitching a scoreless inning of relief. Reed Garrett secured his 4th save of the season after recording the final out of the game. New York is now 3rd in the NL East at an even 500, 41-41. They'll continue their 4-game series tonight at Nationals Park. The Yankees begin a 6-game homestand tonight, and hopefully they can permanently turn things around. The Yanks will be looking to collect their 2nd straight victory when they host the Cincinnati Reds at Yankee Stadium. Right-hander Luis Gil, who has struggled as of late, is slated to make his 17th start of the season. He enters the game at 9-3 with a 3.15 ERA and 99 strikeouts over 85-plus innings pitched. New York is currently tied with Baltimore atop the AL East at 54-32. An NFL coach, former NFL coach, I should say, is facing an uphill battle in his lawsuit against the league. Former Vegas Raiders coach John Gruden has lost a bid for the Nevada Supreme Court to reconsider whether a contract interference and conspiracy lawsuit should be heard in court or in private arbitration. Gruden's lawyers wanted the rehearing after a 3-justice panel split in a May 14th decision that said the league can force a civil case out of state court and into arbitration. Gruden's lawsuit alleges the NFL forced him to resign by leaking racist, sexist, and homophobic emails that he had sent years earlier when he worked as an analyst at ESPN. And Tim Reed, this is something we were just talking about in the break. The majority ownership group of the Boston Celtics, they are cashing in on the big NBA championship. It appears they're planning to make the franchise available for sale. The C's announced Monday that the managing board of ownership group expects to sell a majority interest in the team either this year or early next year. They're expected to Wyke Grousbeck is expected to remain as the governor of the team until the second closing in 2028. According to ESPN, Boston has also agreed to a 4-year, $125.9 million contract extension with guard Derek White. The Green are also agreeing to a 5-year, $314 million contract extension with forward Jason Tatum. So, as you were saying, this is probably the time if the majority leadership or ownership want to make a move here.
Exactly. You want to sell when it's high, and obviously with the Celtics winning this year the championship.
And really no sign of them possibly having a bad season anytime soon.
No, well, you've got the entire team coming back. I guess the one question is Porzingis suffered pretty serious injury. He's got to go under surgery in regards to their center. So, but other than that, I think they're in pretty good shape.
Well, much like the baseball and hockey season, nothing really like baseball season, but like the baseball and hockey season, the NBA season is fairly long. So you'll probably be able to get that center back Porzingis pretty quickly towards the end of the season,
right? Exactly.
When it really matters.
It is, yeah. Well, the second season, which is the playoffs.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that's how
at the
works.
the very worst case scenario.
Yep.
If you are dealing with an injury yourself, you could go to Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica. Dr. Tim Delmedico and his staff do a great job of helping you fight your pain the natural way. It's an FDA-cleared, non-invasive, and drug-free treatment for chronic pain, inflammation, and all joint issues. I was dealing with some foot and ankle pain after running a half marathon. No surprise there that I would have some injury from it. Neck, back, knee, wrist, arthritis, shoulder pain, whatever's bothering you, you should give them a try. Even neuropathy is treated with Revive Softwave Therapy. Dr. Nate over there was telling me one of their neuropathy patients saw a reversal of the purpling and pooling blood after just one treatment with Softwave. And if you give them a call at 315-725-8427, 315-725-8427, and mention the Keeler Show, they'll give you a nice discount. As part of their Discovery Days, you'll get a consultation with one of the doctors, a Softwave therapy treatment, and they'll put you on a treatment recovery plan and assessment. I saw great success in my foot and ankle after just 6 treatments. teams like the Lakers, the Guardians, the Steelers, the Nets, the Cubs, and even Team USA are using this technology. And the Aaron Rodgers, he just got off his retreat in Egypt or something. I don't know where he was. He missed mandatory mini camps for some reason. I don't know. It's another ayahuasca journey, but actually he bought one of these Softwave machines to use on himself post Achilles injuries. So if it works for Aaron Rodgers, it may work for you.
Work for you.
So check them out, reviveutica.com, reviveutica.com. Let the healing begin with Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica. We'll talk to Dr. Hall and several other individuals coming up on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for the past 52 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantique.com.
Your pet isn't just a pet, they're part of your family. Most of the pet food on the market is cooked at high temperatures, which kills nutrients. A scoop of Dynavite is a 3-in-1 daily supplement, adding back key nutrients to your pup's health. Try Dynavite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio. That's Dynavite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynavite.
Always dreamed of a Tempur-Pedic mattress? Right now, save up to $500 on select sets at Mattress Express for our 4th of July sale. Put no money down and get up to 60 months to pay for qualified customers. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information that you should know about planning for nursing home care.
Well, the best way, of course, is to plan ahead. The key is to make sure that you make decisions far ahead of the time that you need a nursing home. Getting the basic pieces in place, including power of attorney, healthcare proxy, will, trust, all those things, and working closely with your family to make sure you're organized and ready to go in case the worst happens.
You should also know there are strategies you can employ, even if you currently have a loved one in a nursing home.
When there's a crisis and someone's entered a nursing home, there are things we can do to act very quickly to protect some of the assets. It really does require that an elder law attorney be involved because the techniques that are used are very technical in nature.
To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Congress is poised to pass a bill to keep AM radio in cars, but time is running out. 82 million Americans risk losing the news, sports, talk, traffic, and vital emergency information they rely on. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to pass this bill now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
First news, Keeler in the morning on WIBX. It is a Tuesday morning, 7:19, and Bill will be back next week. We wish him well as he is working towards getting on a recovery and treatment plan. And Tim Reed is without any there's no due pressure, or you're not under duress in co-hosting this morning, right?
No,
you're voluntarily doing this.
I don't have to
just
think
for
at
the
all,
record,
as is usual in my case.
Well, we appreciate
Just
you
bounce along.
sitting in as the second seat here, and of course, Davey, we're always appreciative of, and so thank you for that. And we do want to bring on one of our favorite regular guests, who is off a little bit of a trip himself, Dr. Kent Hall, formerly of MVHS. And before we get to our topic of the day, Dr. Hall, you were last week spending some time in the great outdoors in the state of Maine. Tell us a little bit about how you spent your week last week.
Yeah, it was a great time. Thanks. So I signed up for a photography workshop in the North Maine woods. Went up to the area. I don't know. People probably don't know much about Maine. I know a little bit, but only because I lived here for 6 years. But there's a town up there called Ashland. It's about 40 miles from Presque Isle, so pretty close to the Canadian border.
Mm-hmm.
We went in. There were 8 of us photographers plus a couple of guides, and we went into a camp where we tented and kayaked and took pictures of moose and landscapes and birds and stuff. It was just a great time. Good people, really, really good photographers. I mean, I can only wish that I could be as good as some of these people. But it was just great. And, just being in the outdoors and stuff is just so nice. It's so refreshing and stuff. So.
Yeah, and what's interesting, and we were mentioning this earlier, is back when you were the chief physician executive and we were in the throes of COVID, it was like all about business with Dr. Hall. And now that you've entered retirement, we're starting to learn all about you in a different way, and it's so awesome to learn about some of your hobbies and talents. And you were sending me some of your work, and It really is incredible, and how majestic to see a moose in its natural habitat in the wild.
Oh yeah, so we would get up at 4:00 in the morning and get in some kayaks, and because moose feed at dawn and at dusk, and unfortunately in June in Maine, dawn comes pretty darn early.
Yeah.
And so we would get in kayaks, and we would be kayaking up this river, gorgeous river, and we would round a bend, and there would be a moose just kind of looking, and he or she would pick up his head and look at us, and we'd go, "Please don't charge. We come as friends. We don't have weapons. We only have cameras." And and it was just great. Literally one day, I think it was Wednesday morning, around every turn we found a moose, a bull moose, a cow moose with a calf. I mean, it was just phenomenal. And then we go out in the middle of the day and be taking pictures of different kinds of water birds and stuff. So it was good. And honestly, probably the nicest part of it, I mean, taking pictures is always great, but the nicest part of it was just being with people, being with people and sitting down and talking and laughing, and and the camp food, there's nothing like hunger to make food taste good. And when you get up at 4:00 in the morning and you're up until 10:30 at night, you kind of get hungry. So that was good too. It was really just a great time.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I did the whole camping in a tent thing, and I really enjoyed it. I grew up spending 2 weeks every summer in my childhood at Camp Gorham, which is a YMCA camp in Eagle Bay. And you would stay in the cabin week 1 and week 2, but on the weekend changeover, they would always have us hike out to some property, campsite on the property, and do the whole tent thing and cook your own food on the open flame. And there's just something beautiful about that.
Yeah, and getting a little bit of medical here. Obviously, I can't tell you the number of ticks that were picked off of people, including myself. And so, it is still very important that, when you're out enjoying things, at the end of the day, you got to come in, you got to check yourself over, have somebody look at your back and the back of your legs and stuff to make sure that there aren't any little critters that decide to hitchhike in.
Well, I'm sure that your group was very grateful to have a very talented physician in their midst while they were up in the northern Maine wilderness. We're talking to, of course, Dr. Ken Hall, formerly of MVHS. We still have him on because he's one of our favorites. Mr. Reed, go ahead.
So, Dr. Hall, I dealt with moose when my parents used to pack me off to camp at International Falls, Minnesota, and we would go up in Canada, and you just don't really appreciate how big they are. We were portaging, and we actually around some rapids, and didn't realize that actually we had gone off the portage trail and we're starting to follow a moose trail because it was when they clear a path, it's like a regular path that a human would go across. They're massive.
Oh yeah, they are really huge, and we saw some little less than 1 year old, and even they are big. I mean, obviously not as massive as a bull moose or something, but holy crow, it is just amazing. We had one that came out of the brush and walked into the water, across the water, probably about 20-25 feet in front of our kayaks, and it was like, oh my gosh, please just keep walking. Yeah. Just keep walking.
I'm only trying to shoot a photo of you. Right. So we do want to switch gears, talking to Dr. Ken Hall. COVID is still out there. It still exists. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. But there is a bit of a mildness to it now, although we don't want to underplay some of the dangerousness of it or potential risks for people with underlying conditions. A report yesterday shows that there is a little bit of an uptick, being that even though it's the summer and people are outdoors, some of the hotter temperatures have forced people indoors. Talk about this recent resurgence possibly and what people can expect from it.
Yeah, so I think you're exactly right. I think it's, the huge heat that was affecting, 100 million people over the country, did drive people indoors. And similar to what happens in, late September, October, where we go indoors because the weather's cold. Sometimes we go indoors because the weather's hot. And and so it's not surprising that we would have a slight uptick related to that. The primary circulating virus for COVID now, there are actually two of them, is quite infectious. The data shows that it does not cause severe disease, certainly not like what we saw back in 2021, 22, but it still does cause disease. And unfortunately, the rubric is still that people that are vulnerable are the very young, the very old, especially, and people that have, significant medical problems, whether it's heart disease or lung disease or cancer or things like that. So basically anything that makes your immune system less able to cope with an infection, diabetes, things like that are going to also make you more susceptible to getting this infection. Thankfully, as the virus has evolved, and this is what viruses do, their whole reason to live is to propagate, is to make baby viruses.
Sure.
And so if they were so bad that they killed everybody right away, then actually that would be detrimental to their lifespan. So, being very infectious but causing, relatively mild illness for the vast majority of people is exactly what they want. And I think that's where we, if we haven't gotten there completely, that's certainly where we're heading with COVID. To your point, COVID is going to be with us forever. There is no this is going to go away. This is just what we're going to have to live with, and thankfully it is turning into something that is less concerning to the population as a whole. So.
Is there any other, health risks associated with summer that people should be aware of? I know, obviously, use of sunscreen is important. It's interesting. Both my fiance and I had done a lot yesterday. I had gone for a bike ride. She went for a run. Then I played 9 holes of golf, and I think sometimes even I take for granted the fact that it's hot and the sun is out, and I almost had a headache and was lethargic and was just overall not feeling well last night. What's advice you'd have for people who are engaging in activities in this warmer weather here? We're going to be in the low to mid 80s most of the week.
Yeah, so the most important thing is you want to stay well hydrated. I would say that you probably, while you were probably drinking some things, hopefully not a lot of alcoholic beverages, but when you go golfing, I know I've gone golfing, and yep, that's part of it. But the reality is that those symptoms that you described, especially after it, are really probably more related to mild dehydration than any kind of heat illness per se. So that's probably the biggest thing, is really to make sure that you are staying as hydrated as possible. The other thing that I would say is we talked about ticks, but mosquitoes also carry disease, and there is a resurgence of something called dengue fever, which is spread by mosquitoes, and that is something that there is no cure for. It is just something that you have to weather, but it can be quite severe. It is not something that is usually in this area. It's actually pretty rare that we get a case here. It's really more in the hotter areas. I can tell you that Puerto Rico is having a terrible time with it now. That being said, it used to not be in the United States at all. It used to be down in, South America and, Southern Central America and stuff. So this is the migration of these diseases as their vector, as the environment allows their vector to move further north. And so, just be careful. Sunscreen, to your point, absolutely important. Good hydration. Try and stay away. Use mosquito repellent and things like that, just so you can keep as safe as possible. But I will also say, go out and enjoy this time. This is not a time to, be huddled in your home afraid and stuff. This is, let's go out and enjoy. We in the Mohawk Valley don't get a whole lot of warm weather and nice weather, but we should enjoy it. And, to your point yesterday, crime sakes, you and your fiance between
I know
biking, running, golfing, holy crow.
Well, and we were really talking about how tired the dog got, because our dog has come a long way, although she's 2.5 and she needs maybe some training still in regards to certain things. She was keeping pace and running well with my fiance. She was saying that she kept me going. She kept pushing me a little bit, so it's kind of nice to take advantage of that. So, Dr. Hall, we always appreciate speaking to you. We missed you last week, but we are glad that you enjoyed yourself up in northern Maine, and I will share these photos with Tim Reed and try to get them out to the public as well. They're absolutely wonderful. You are so humble with regard to your photography. Of course, we have the iconic Dr. Hall eclipse photo that Bill shared as well. So we thank you always for joining us, and we'll speak to you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. Just enjoy today and just have a great day. Thanks.
All right. You have a great 4th of July holiday, Dr. Ken Hall, formerly of MVHS, and our sort of residential expert when it comes to all things medical.
always a doctor, and but it's nice to see that he's a human.
Yeah, right.
You know,
he enjoys other things.
Other things.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we do have our free money question of the day coming up. Smitty, what amount are we giving away today?
Come on, Smitty.
Not $1,000.
No.
Not 1,000? Okay, well, we let's be generous. We're going into a holiday.
100.
No. Come
gosh.
on. Abika got to him. We're going into a holiday, Davey, so we're not going to be giving away any money.
200.
We're not going to. So listen, we're not going to be giving away money Wednesday. We didn't give away any opportunity yesterday, or Thursday and Friday. So maybe
300.
All right, $300. Okay, so we'll take caller for your chance at $300 with free Habika's free money question of the day. Andrew and Joseph Habika, 315-724-1600 for all your legal needs. They are giving the chance to. For you to win $300. Davey, what caller are we looking for?
Caller 10.
Caller 10 for $300. 315-736-0186. That's 315-736-0186. You can call directly through your WIBX 950 mobile app as well. We will have your chance at some big money coming up on WIBX.
No matter what kind of pet you own, if you want to work the land, you should be a cat person. Bobcat, that is. Get a Bobcat compact tractor at Warner Sales and Service. Powerful and easy to use. Bobcat construction and landscaping equipment is known for its legendary quality. See everything a Bobcat can do when you demo a new Bobcat tractor at Warner Sales and Service. With their great selection of Bobcat compact tractors, one's perfect for the work you do. Warner Sales and Service on Greenway, New London Road, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona.
At Warner's.
Each store independently owned and operated and not part of a chain or cooperative buying group.
Summer starts here at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford and Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer. We're featuring some wonderful summertime wines and canned cocktails to cool you down this season. Check out 19 Crimes Martha's Chardonnay, regularly $12.99, now just $7.99 while supplies last. Faro 13 Link Brut Rosé was $13.99, and we're blowing it out for $4.99. Yes, just $4.99. We love Made in New York Talkhouse canned cocktail 4-packs. Compare at $12.99, now just $10.99. And try our hand-picked Fratelli Prosecco, regularly $12.99, now just $9.99. And everyone's favorite Matua Sauvignon Blanc was $12.99 and now is just $10.99. Plus, mix and match wine cases are 20% off now through July 7th, 2024. Let your summer start at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford and Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer.
Ferris commercial mowers set the bar with racing-inspired patented full suspension and integrated cutting decks so you can go faster, cut better, and not get beat up. Ferris Experience Suspension. Take advantage of the best financing and prices of the year. Visit us at whitesfarmsupply.com.
We're the power in power equipment. White's Farm Supply.
Adirondack Home Furniture knows that when it comes to outdoor furniture, you want something that's comfortable, durable, and stylish. That's why Polywood is the perfect choice. Polywood furniture is made from high-quality materials that are weather-resistant and easy to clean. Plus, each piece is designed with comfort and style in mind, so you can enjoy your outdoor space like never before. Whether you're looking for classic Adirondack chairs, stylish dining sets and sofas, or a beautiful fire pit, Polywood has everything you need to create the perfect outdoor oasis. So why wait? Transform your outdoor space into a place of relaxation, fun, and style with Polywood furniture at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in and explore their large selection of Polywood pieces and take one home today. Adirondack Home Furniture does custom orders, delivery, and setup. Stop in today and explore the world of Polywood. Adirondack Home Furniture in the former Riverside Mall, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Summer is here, and it's time to fill your days with family fun. With the Seize the Deal 2024 Summer Fun Card, enjoy 9 amazing attractions at an unbeatable price for just $99. The Seize the Deal Summer Fun Card offers unique and exciting attractions for you and your family. 9 great summer adventures for only $99, including Sidekicks Karate Wellness. Get 1 month of classes for 1 child. The Sidekicks Karate Wellness team teaches children physical techniques as well as confidence and focus that goes beyond the realm of kicking and punching. The Family Fun Factory. Factory. Admission for a family of 4. Allow your child's imagination to run wild in their 2 playgrounds at the Family Fun Factory. From the slides and trampolines to the obstacles, your child will have endless fun. Pins. Pull 1 game of bowling for a family of 4 and $10 arcade card per person. Come knock down some pins with the family at Pins Bowl. With colorful lanes, comfy seating, arcade games, and more. Make this summer one to remember and get over $600 in savings with the 2024 Summer Fun Card. Limited number available, so get yours now for just $99 at seizethedeal.com.
Keeler in the Morning invites you to connect with us through telephonic communication at 315-736-0186. Or use the Call Us button on the WIBX 950 app. For additional contact methodologies, please refer to WIBX950.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
The first news with Keeler in the morning. It's me, Andrew Dominio. Phil had Davey in there disapproving of my... Hey, listen, we can't always be perfect here, Davey, like you. Okay. First news, Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. Streaming everywhere on the free WIBX 950 mobile app and on YouTube for several people to see, including Lance and Lee, who I just want to get one of his comments in. He was always...
What a great job you're doing.
It's not too often that I get complimented by Lance and Lee, but I did have a bit of an opinion on the handling of the press conference by Mayor Mike Galimi, and
Right.
We'll talk to him about that when he's in a little bit later on this morning. But Lance and Lee saying this morning, Andrew, I watched yesterday's show. You were spot on about your opinion of the handling of the news conference. Now this is switching to Lance's opinion. Galimi micromanaged the police chief and his assistant. Galimi made them look incompetent in front of what ended up being millions of people since the debacle news conference went nationwide. Big Honey and Hecla. You're bashful about talking about Haktua, a straight girl. We have no problem talking about gays and lesbians. I think that's woke, right? We did talk about the Haktua girl. I just figure more of not being prudish about it, but more being respectful of people having their breakfast and oatmeal and cream of wheat and all that. So we don't want to ruin anybody's breakfast with talks of that act. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Tim Reed. You're keeping me well-behaved this morning.
I do want to say one thing about Davey, and we're going in the free money question, is that I'm very proud of him today in regards to, kind of raising the bar up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes that guy's tighter than 3 coats of paint.
I know. Sometimes he's
he's acting like it's his money.
I know. Sometimes I think there was reports that he was thinking about doing like $25 and $50 free money questions of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well,
we got $300 out of
him, man.
And our caller is Fred from Richfield Springs, who is grateful that Davey has given him the opportunity today to win a potential $300. Of course, we were doing Laundro Lottery with Mrs. Keeler. That is on hiatus as of this week. It may return next week. Who knows? But this week, we're giving Mrs. Keeler the week off because both her dryer,
the dryer has to be repaired
from all the clothespins there. Anyway, so Fred in Richfield Springs, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine today. How are you?
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for participating. You are our caller 10 for our Habaika's free money question of the day. Andrew and Joseph Habaika, 315-724-1600 for all your legal needs. Your chance at $300 is coming up right now. So you have to get your answer in before the 7-second clock is up. At the very least, you'll win the Food and Fun card, which gets you $25 at any of the fine garden entertainment restaurants, the Utica Odd, etc. Are you ready? Fred in Richfield Springs.
Yes.
All right.
I am.
We talked about this earlier in the program. But the legendary, we'll see how long Fred's been listening. Here we go. You may just know this. This may be general Utica area knowledge, but the legendary Spilka's Bar and Hotel is being torn down, and so many memories were made there, some not so great. A stabbing took place there that led to them losing their liquor license. What year did that incident take place? Ready, go.
I'm just guessing. 1949.
1949. Oh, you were only about 70 years too early.
Yep.
It was actually back in August of 2009 that Ambrose Smith was stabbed to death by Willie Reed of Utica. He was charged with first-degree manslaughter after police say he stabbed Smith 7 times in his chest, legs, and side. Police say they believe Reed did not know the victim, and authorities did not know what triggered the deadly fight. But the fight happened inside of Spilka's and then ended up in the street, and unfortunately somebody was killed. And that ultimately was the end of Spilka's as far as the bar went, as they lost their liquor license. So you do not win the $300, Fred, but we've got a sweet prize for you, the Food and Fun card to Babes, Cookies Q, Aquavino, 72 Tavern and Grill, the Tailor and the Cook, or any of the concession stands at the Utica Adirondack Bank Center. So you've got that. You're never really a loser on First News with Keeler in the morning. So
That's true.
well, Fred, we always appreciate you listening and playing and participating. You have a good rest of your day and a wonderful, safe, happy 4th of July holiday. Davey's going to hook you up.
Same to you. Thank you.
All right. So that just hung up. So, Fred, I don't know how to operate these phones, apparently. So, Fred in Richfield Springs, if you're listening, call back so Davey can get your information so we can get that Food and Fun card to you. Yes, so legendary Spilka's, the news broke yesterday. Maybe it was common knowledge before, but the news broke yesterday officially that they're tearing that building down.
Yep.
On Noise and Stark.
By the way.
Yeah, you have a fun fact about
well,
this.
I do have a fun fact, but I just want you to know that Willie Reed in no way, shape, or manner is a relative of mine. I know.
You don't have a long-lost cousin Willie?
Famous stabbings of Utica. I was in no way, shape, or manner part. Yeah, so actually it was, I think, on KTV that, Spilka's goes back actually to the 1800s and was originally a hotel and a stagecoach stop.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
So the early 1800s, the stagecoach would come and have an ale. And probably was having Utica Club at some point. Utica Club or Matt's, as my grandmother used to drink.
Yep.
So one of the things I do want to talk to you, Mr. Tim Reed, about is the Boilermaker Road Race.
Yep.
For several years, you were at the helm, the leader of the race, and there were several years that had, different events and some things that we were talking about, reminiscing how lucky the race has been. Knock on wood. I don't want to be the jinxer here,
right?
But consistently having nice enough weather for the race to go off. But there was one year where, and we were, and again to Lance and Lee's comment and some of my criticism yesterday, it's not always easy to make the right decisions when it comes to dealing with the press and the media and the public with regard to making decisions. There was the year of the
Boston Marathon bombing.
Well, there was that year.
Yeah.
And there was also the Thunder and Lightning year.
Yeah, so that particular year, we had gotten word the day before, I remember it being Saturday at the Expo, that there was a massive storm that was coming across the United States. And it was not a question of that it was, an if, it was just a question of when it was going to happen.
And where exactly.
And it's really, it's ferocity. It had already had killed a few people outside of Detroit. So we brought together all the operations people. And it actually was one of the first years that we had an operations center together. We really had not had that prior. And the decision was made that we were going to make the call on it at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to call the National Weather Service to see what was going to happen, because by that time you have people coming in, the day trippers coming in from places like Buffalo or whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
Buses. So at that point in time, in regards to, you kind of had to make that call.
I remember waiting. I remember watching.
Yep.
It was like primetime local TV.
Exactly.
Everybody was like kind of at the edge of their seats.
Exactly.
Is it going to go? And I think I actually was running it that year.
Right.
But I remember, watching, and it was almost like when you're waiting for a Joe Biden press conference for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You just got that one camera angle out at the brewery, sitting there and waiting.
So it ended up with that. We did end up making the decision that the race was going to take place. We did curtailed the post-race party by an hour or so or whatever it was. But we had, having the media thing take place the day before was pretty energetic, I guess, for lack of a better term, in regards to it, that really it went along a lot longer than I thought it was in regards to it. And it's very easy to kind of, and then the public was starting to come around there too, because obviously a lot of people go on the brewery tours and things like that. A lot of concern. It's difficult. I mean, it is, these are not scripted things that you think are going to go the way that they go. They're going to go the way that it wants to go. So, I certainly appreciate what the mayor and the police chief and Lieutenant Curley, is a wonderful guy. I think does a great job in regards to communications, having to deal with a very, very difficult situation for this city.
It is. So. It will forever be a dark cloud or a dark stain on our history, and of course, many people. And if you have an opinion on it, please be cautious about how you express it. But 315-736-0186. Your thoughts on the whole situation, 315-736-0186. We will take your call as we have a few minutes left here in the 7 o'clock hour. We will be speaking with Mayor Galimi coming up at the top of the 8 o'clock hour in studio. But, getting national coverage, of course, to Lance and Lee's point, ABC Nightly News ran with the story yesterday. It is a difficult situation, and we always like to highlight the benefits of Utica, and we are on the national stage for a lot of positive things, but never easy when this type of situation happens. Where there's a negative light.
Well, we are a refugee community. I mean, it's
one of the things we pride ourselves on.
Exactly.
Correct.
So you are going to end up with situations in regards to it where, ethnic groups, by their very nature, are going to band together in regards to it. And I'm not saying it's somewhat tribal in regards to whatever it is, but there's going to be a certain amount of protectionism and perhaps a certain amount of alienation in regards to people feeling that that they're on the outside looking in. I think that these are probably the same situations that have happened, with the Bosnian community, with the Somali community, with the Karen populations or whatever it is, that there is that it certainly takes, a while to have, assimilation and things like that to, into the American culture and things like that. And I know that certainly the Utica schools have to deal with this in regards to, I guess it's not right to call them gangs, but they call them affinity groups or whatever.
Whatever the term is.
Yeah, it almost sounds like it's not the Elks Club, okay?
Right. Yeah.
But there's those, when people feel that they've been bullied or whatever it is and things like that, that sometimes is a very natural thing that occurs. And there's a million different reasons why probably these things are happening, whatever it is. And we'd love to be able to wave a magic wand and make them go away, but it just doesn't happen.
And, to reiterate a point that Chief Mark Williams brought up yesterday, this is an issue that has been ongoing, this issue of, youth having their lives taken way too soon. Unfortunately, this instance, it was a Utica police officer, which is never a good situation. And, of course, we have to be sensitive to the fact that there will be an investigation by the Attorney General's office. We have, even though we've seen the body cam footage, there is the video of the bystander who took the view from 40 feet away with a camera. We have those images. We have that video. But as Steve Houck said yesterday, that doesn't always paint the whole picture. So we have to let this investigation play out. Hopefully, when it's all said and done, that some sort of healing can happen. But I think the important point to remember is that in January of this year, we lost a 15-year-old to gun violence. And then shortly after that, a 17-year-old passing away as a result of gun violence. So something has to be done, and I know there's always these people that come out and say, we have to do this and we have to do that. I don't know what the answer is, but we got to come up with it pretty quick.
Exactly. Well,
because one young death is far too many, but this is just a terrible situation.
Well, I was on the board of the Boys and Girls Club many years ago in regards to it, and
an organization that my mom took advantage of for me in the summers when she was working and my father were working and needed a place for me to go and enjoy. And we would take trips to. I mean, it was such an awesome experience because we'd have the day-to-day activities there, but we would also, we would talk about, we would go on trips to like Darien Lake and Six Flags and Water Safari and, things that we weren't able to maybe take advantage of with our parents because of financial situation we were able to do at the Boys and Girls Club. But go ahead.
And I just really think the loss of places like that that haven't been filled in regards to it. Hey, we've all got 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
And, you can spend that time any day you want to, any way you want to in regards to whether it's positive or negative. So, I think that the opportunity for youth to be able to do things in a more positive manner would be a very, very good thing. So
I agree. And that's, we talk about funding and money doesn't always fix a problem, but maybe throwing some money at an organization like that to bring it back would be helpful.
Right.
John in Bridgewater on the line. John hung up, so I don't know what happened to John, but John from Bridgewater was on the line. I think he's calling back. 315-736-0186. I think I can take that right from here, Smitty, right? John in Bridgewater, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, who? Andrew?
Yeah. Hey, it's Andrew.
Hey,
Yep.
how you doing, man?
You're
Hey,
live. You're live.
Question.
Yes. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Hey, I was wondering, the first minute into the news conference that the mayor had, like 30 minutes after everything went down, it's terrible. But he didn't have any information. Why would he invite everybody to the news conference when he didn't have any information? The family all got there and they were asking questions, and there was loop. It was just a chaos. It was too bad that, maybe he should have waited a little more until he had information, because it was a debacle. You give the microphone to the chief of the police, then he had to take it back and hand it to the interpreter to get the crowd to quiet down. It's just, I don't know, I would have maybe held off until you had some answers for the people.
Yeah, and I think that maybe the venue choice and the timing and how it was advertised could have been different. But, of course, those are questions that we will ask the mayor in just a few minutes. He'll be
sit back and point fingers and say, why'd you do this? But, 30 minutes, he had no answers to give to anybody.
Yeah.
So,
well, one thing about Galimi I'll give him credit for is he's never shy about coming on and answering for himself and answering these questions. Some of them could be tough at times, and we will certainly ask those questions of him.
They have a great mayor. I like this mayor. He's on top of things, and so I can't wait to hear him on later.
All right, well, he'll be on at about 8:15 this morning, and you'll be listening in, and we will certainly ask those questions of him.
All right.
And, hopefully he'll have an answer. But one thing I'll give him credit for, he's never shy to come on the air and explain himself. So we'll talk to Mayor Mike Galimi coming up at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Right. John in Bridgewater, thank you. We will ask that question of him when he is here.
Hey, Mr. Reed, you're doing a fine job.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much, my friend.
Bye.
I know. I gotta be careful. I may actually lose my job here at some point. Davey, is this a call that we want to take here? There's some people calling up here, 315-736-0186. If you want to get your questions asked, I'll move the final commercial break here of the hour, pulling a bill here to take some calls if somebody wants to chime in on the topic. 315-736-0186. Davey, do we have somebody on the line? Line 2 is ready to go? All right. I think we have Victor on line 2. Victor, go ahead. You're on the air. First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Hi. Where were the parents when all this was going on?
Oh, sorry. This is Jake in Utica. Sorry, Jake. Go ahead.
Jake, yeah. Where were the parents when this was going on? The kid's what? How old was he?
13. Yeah. I mean,
correct.
It's...
And what time at night?
10:18 p.m. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But...
we don't want to, I certainly am not in a position where I'm going to say anything about parenting, not having kids myself.
Okay.
Yeah. But, that is certainly a question that has been asked quite a bit. And, I guess I don't want to be in a position to be judging too soon with regard to certain things.
Right.
It's interesting. This happened on Shaw Street, which is literally a block away from where I grew up. And
Me too. I lived on 815 Shaw Street. Oh my God, back in the late 60s.
Yeah, it was 805 Sherman Place in West Utica is where I grew up. And so, and back then, back when I was a kid, we were out, decent hour. I mean, we were playing baseball in the street or running around playing hide and seek or whatever capture the flag and things like that as a kid. But so again, I don't want to be too quick to judge the mother. I mean, those are questions that people have asked. But I think getting back to the issue we were discussing with youth violence, I think there's some sort of intervention that needs to happen to try to curb some of maybe potential bad behavior. I'm not saying that was the case here, but for people going forward, for these kids going forward. So, Jake, it is definitely a good question to ask. I think other people have asked it, but I just think we need to be careful about passing any judgment on either side of things until...
No, but you see, here's how I look at it. When I was 13, I was in bed at 10:30.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm sure you were too.
Yeah. It's definitely also a different time, I think, than when we were younger, Jake. So it's a valid point, and we appreciate you making it. You have that opinion, and that's why we...
Don't get me, Andrew, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it is a sad thing. But come on. I mean, the parents, it starts with them. And I don't care. People could call me an ass or whatever. It starts with the parents.
All right. Well, Jake, we always welcome your call, and you're welcome to any time. So thank you so much. Have a great, happy 4th of July.
Have a great, you too, Andrew. Bye.
Right,
Bye-bye.
All right. And Larry, very quickly, I only have about 30 seconds.
Andrew, I want you to ask the mayor. He says he's transparent. Why was the codes officer arrest so hidden until Lance from Lee brought out 3 months later? They should have went to the media and been on the news. Could you ask him that?
We will discuss that again, and we're never shy about asking the mayor those questions. So I will definitely get that question in if time permits, but I'll make it a point to do so. Tim is writing it down so that he reminds me of that.
Yes.
Thank you, Larry. The question will be asked.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Will the ruling at the Supreme Court let him off the hook in New York? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Former President Trump hopes so.
Planning to use this ruling from the court yesterday to try to set aside that criminal conviction or those criminal convictions in that New York business records case.
Fox's Doug Luzader.
The court ruled yesterday in this 6-3 decision that presidents have some level of immunity from criminal charges for official actions they take as president. No immunity for private actions, but where you draw that line is where things get kind of tricky.
President Biden calls the Supreme Court ruling dangerous.
That undermines the rule of law of this nation.
Fearing it would embolden his Republican rival, if elected again, to feel above the law.
The American people have to render a judgment about Donald Trump's behavior. The American people must decide whether Donald Trump's assault on our democracy on January 6th makes him unfit for public office in the highest office in the land.
House Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox the president's reaction is
despicable and it is dangerous. The president has been trying to undermine our legal system.
As President Biden tries to shake off a shaky debate performance.
The Biden-Harris campaign announcing it raised $127 million in the month of June. $38 million of that raised in the 4 days following the first presidential debate. It was the best fundraising month of the campaign and brings the total to $240 million of cash on hand.
Fox's Sue Guzman. Today, President Biden will speak out about extreme weather, pushing a proposed new rule to establish new workplace safety standards for excessive heat. Beryl's the earliest Category 5 hurricane in the Atlantic ever, bearing down on Jamaica tomorrow.
The powerful storm made landfall on the island of Carriacou in Grenada Monday. Now emergency teams are moving in with supplies after widespread damage was reported on islands including Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez. At least 2 deaths are reported. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-887-1010. 800-887-1010.
For years now, people have been switching their wireless service to Pure Talk to save money. Just $20 a month, you get unlimited talk and text and tons of data. But more people are switching to Pure Talk, a veteran-owned company, to support the America's Warrior Partnership and their mission to help prevent veteran suicide. To make the switch, dial pound 250, say the keyword SAVE NOW, and you'll be connected to Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team. Make the switch, same service, save money, help vets, pound 250, keyword SAVE NOW.
More people are traveling ahead of the 4th of July weekend when AAA predicts a record 71 million Americans will go somewhere, most by car, but many will fly. There were almost 16,000 flight delays the past 2 days. Today, 570 according to FlightAware. And be careful what you pack. A congresswoman from Indiana found that out.
Republican Victoria Spartz, the only Ukrainian-born member of Congress, is charged with a misdemeanor weapons violation at Dulles International Airport. TSA agents say they found a firearm in Spartz's carry-on bag during screening on Friday. The gun was unloaded. A spokesperson says Spartz didn't realize the firearm was in the pocket of her suitcase. Spartz had initially planned to leave Congress after her current term, but changed her mind and decided to run for re-election. She's best known for voting against the latest military aid package to her native country. Tom Rigotti, Fox News.
Speaking of Ukraine, Hungary's prime minister has gone there for talks for the first time since Russia's invasion. And it's notable because Viktor Orban is Russian President Vladimir Putin's closest European ally and has said Ukraine cannot win the war. And Hungary has at times delayed or opposed European assistance to Ukraine to battle Russia. On Wall Street, stock futures are falling after the gains made yesterday to start the second half of the year. Dow futures are down more than 100 points. Disappointment for the U.S. in soccer.
The only goal of the match last night, scored by Uruguay in the 66th minute.
That's it. That's the end. The United States is done at the Copa America.
On FS1, the United States men's national soccer team was eliminated last night in Kansas City, where it lost Uruguay 1-0, while Panama defeated Bolivia 3-1. Panama advanced out of Group C into the knockout stages, while the U.S. failed to advance out of group play for the first time at a major tournament in which it had won its first game.
That's Jared Max. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM, news time 8:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. It is a sunny day, and it will continue to be. 60 degrees, your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by Adirondack Home Furniture. Protests continue following the shooting death of a 13-year-old boy in Utica yesterday. Roughly 100 people went to Utica City Hall to express their anger over the shooting of Nia Mue on Friday night. Mue ended up being shot during a struggle with police following a foot chase on Shaw Street. Officials claim that Mue pointed what appeared to be a gun at officers. Turned out to be a replica Glock pellet gun. The state attorney general's office is now handling the investigation. 3 people are facing charges for their alleged roles in a road rage dispute in DeWitt. Last week, 27-year-old Miguel Rosario and 20-year-old James Rosario were in a vehicle that was chasing a Jeep. James Rosario opened fire from the passenger seat and ended up striking that vehicle. Following the shooting, 30-year-old Jose Rosario Otero intentionally slammed his vehicle into the Jeep. James Rosario is the only one of the suspects still in custody. This is the second road rage incident in as many weeks in the upstate New York area. Central New York drivers will be paying more at the pump when filling up during this July 4th holiday week. According to AAA, the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel is now $3.55. That's a 1-cent jump in the past week and is 7 cents still less than what motorists were paying at this time last month. Right now, the state average is sitting at $3.58 a gallon. Nationally, it's $3.49. An alien man was arrested on multiple grand jury indictment warrants in Utica. Police say the Oneida County Sheriff's Office alerted authorities they were following 22-year-old Eric Magana in the city, who is wanted on charges of selling and distributing narcotics in the city. Magana was stopped by authorities and arrested without incident. He was charged with third-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell. Utica officials and the Utica Center for Development have announced the postponement of the fireworks and party in the park that was scheduled for Thursday. The fireworks and party will happen at a later date to be determined. We'll speak with Vince Scalise of the Utica Center for Development coming up later on First News with Keeler in the morning. The parade will still take place starting at 10 a.m. from the St. Elizabeth building in Utica on Genesee Street and ending at the Parkway Rec Center. Again, the parade kicks off at 10 a.m. And millions of travelers are out and about ahead of the 4th of July holiday. The TSA says it expects to screen over 30 million passengers through July 8th. AAA predicts a record 60 million people will be traveling by car over the holidays, which is nearly 3 million more than last year. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 8:08. Your weather forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. For today, we will see sunny skies. Temperatures will be in the lower 80s. Mostly cloudy skies overnight with a low in the low 60s. Tomorrow we'll see mostly sunny skies with a high in the mid to upper 80s. Right now we're at 60 degrees under mostly sunny skies at 8:08. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43 local contractors. The New York Mets snapped their 2-game skid with a 9-7 win over the Washington Nationals in 10 innings. Jake Dykman was credited with his second victory of the year after pitching a scoreless inning of relief. Reed Garrett secured his 4th save of the season after recording the final out of the game. Jose Iglesias and J.D. Martinez each went deep in the win. New York is now 3rd in the NL East at 41-41. They'll continue their 4-game series tonight at Nationals Park. Meanwhile, the Yankees will begin a 6-game homestand tonight. They'll be looking to collect their 2nd straight victory when they host the Cincinnati Reds at Yankee Stadium. A lot of red at Yankee Stadium this week, Mr. Reed, as they will be hosting your Boston Red Sox. Those dirty, smelly Boston Red Sox.
We have nothing to lose.
At the end of the week. You're right.
We have nothing to lose.
And I remember I'm like having, as Yogi Berra would say, deja vu all over again because it was a Friday before a Red Sox-Yankees series that I was talking a little smack and it bit me in the butt.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Although Alex Verdugo's opening home run in the game 1 was apropos, I feel. So we'll see what happens, but a lot of red going to be at Yankee Stadium this week as they'll host the Reds for 3 games and then the Boston Red Sox this weekend. Right-hander Luis Gil, who has struggled as of late, he's slated to make his 17th start of the season tonight. They're currently, they being New York, tied with Baltimore atop the AL East at 54-32. Also, big news in the NBA. The majority ownership group of the Celtics planning to make the franchise available for sale. The C's announced Monday that the managing board of ownership group expects to sell majority interest in the team either this year or early next year. According to ESPN, Boston has also agreed to a 4-year, $125.9 million contract extension with guard Derek White. The Green also agreed to a 5-year, $314 million contract extension with forward Jason Tatum. WIBX 950 news time is 8:10. And while there are still commercial breaks to get to this hour, we do have Mayor Mike Leamy in studio. We want to probably just get right to it here as we have a lot to discuss with the mayor. And to his credit, he is always willing to come on the air and speak about things, even if some people may seem a bit critical, maybe even some comments that I made admittedly about the press conference. But again, I'm not in your position, so I can't imagine what you're going through. Mayor Mike Leamy, good morning.
I wasn't aware of your comments, and I got to go look them up.
And again, Monday morning coming in. Again, I've never been in a situation to lead a city like you and to be in a situation to have the press conference. One of the things that I had talked about and maybe others have talked about is maybe the timing of the press conference and the venue and how it was rolled out. Talk a little bit about the mentality for that and is there anything you wish you would have done differently?
There is one thing that I wish could have been done differently, which we could not have changed that morning. This sounds crazy, but I'm an audio guy. The PA.
Yeah.
We did not have an adequate PA for how the press conference evolved. Okay. And because of that, you saw Chief Williams struggling to speak over the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And if we did have that, myself, Lieutenant Curley, we could have run the cadence of what we wanted to do and get to the questions even with the completely expected unrest. Initially, that press conference was going to be a press conference that was closed to the public but open to the press so that we could get all of that information out so that people could understand when we would release the videos, when we would release information about the actual stop, etc., and get out to the public how and when and exactly they would expect those things. Because if you claim transparency, you also have to be accountability to when you say those things will come out. Now, once the public showed up, obviously, we made the decision for better or for worse to make sure that they could come in and be part of that. Obviously, there's risk there the second you do that. And we dealt with it. And ultimately, I don't regret any bit of Saturday morning because it did achieve what I wanted to see, which was immediate contact with the public from literally the first step after the incident the night prior.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that stood out to me with regard to, well, I guess I wasn't surprised when, and unfortunately I wasn't able to make the press conference. I watched it through the lens of Antoine Spratt, who's an independent journalist in the area. But the fact that it was almost broadcast on the police Facebook page that the press conference was going to be at this time, at this location, City Hall being the public place, I guess that was my only comment, but you spoke to that, so we'll move on. You've been dealing with a lot of things your first year as mayor, and it's only been 7 months now, 6 months in its entirety. A solid 6 months.
A solid 6.
You've been dealing with a lot and some hard decisions you've had to make. The tax increase was something that I'm sure a lot of people, I know a lot of people are against, and was not something I'm sure you were excited about.
It started with the tow rotation on January 2nd, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's been a ramp since then.
Yeah.
So yes, but
I mean, but to have an incident like this, just talk about hearing the news of this and your immediate thoughts and how you're handling all this.
Well, clearly, I'm handling it the way I'm handling it. Everyone can see that it's very public, and I'm trying to, especially from the position of mayor, make sure that I can keep open communication with the public, make sure that I am available to and will be and continue to be available to the Karen population, the community, for any questions. We did have, and I was invited to the event at Tabernacle Church, for example. That was many hours of just questions and hearing from the community. So, this is something we have to make sure we keep on top of, because the community needs us to, in a transparent way, in an open way, to make sure that in the future, I have a responsibility to accept police work when it is good and call it out when it's not. Right now, that's at the hands of the AG office, okay? And our own standard professional standards investigation, which is starting as well. Obviously, the AG is at the state level, and that is completely independent from us.
And that will take some. I think people need to understand too that both investigations will take time.
They will.
And while in some circumstances time heals, I think sometimes in this situation you may have to be faced with the difficulty of too much time will maybe lead to some unrest.
Yeah. So
are you prepared to handle that? And what do you say?
We are
going
to continue every single time we have anything actionable that can be released. We are going to release that. And that's a commitment to the public. As far as the incident itself, I had to review the videos that evening, early morning, I'll call it, Saturday. just to see what has transpired. And the biggest thing the public needs to understand is every single one of us watching those videos, the police officers, the supervisors, the chief, deputy chief, nobody wants to, if they're a police officer, discharge a firearm and see this outcome. And every single person who watched that video in my presence for the first time or the second time or the third time watches that and does not ultimately sink through every step of that video into grief for the deceased.
Yeah.
And also, what is not talked about, the fact that the police officer, while the public is being very, a lot of scrutiny for the police officer, and the other two officers involved, they also are going through something unimaginable because they never want to be in this situation. Never. And many police officers never recover from something like this. Because it's not ever something you want to happen, but in that line of work, although it's a small probability, it could happen, and now it has happened.
And I know personally an officer who was on the job, and an incident happened where they were not able to return to the force, and it still impacts them today. We're speaking with Mayor Mike Galimi, who is with us this morning on the heels of a tragic incident that happened Friday. Also, Tim Reed in studio is my co-host. Tim, do you have any questions?
Yeah,
and
Mike.
Really, we're getting comments from Wayne. You know, he loves you, Tim, but you got to be really on that mic.
Okay. Mike, I think you have in your budget for a public safety commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my question to you is, do you wish the person was on, a week ago, and do you see an acceleration in regards to getting that person in that position?
We concluded a second round of interviews just only a couple weeks ago. We had to pause all those interviews because during the budget process, the council was taking that money out of the budget, and while that was something I wanted to start right out of the gate, we had to put a pause on that. I don't think having a public safety commissioner right now would have changed this particular incident, right? But we are, not that it's accelerated, we already are on an accelerated path to hiring somebody, and we concluded our second round of interviews for that.
So is there a time, do you have an exact timeline or a rough timeline of when that person may take the position?
Well, we did, particular to that position, stage how we do the interviews. I do an initial interview with the chief of staff, and then we have the chiefs who are involved in public safety participate in an interview with them, so we can ultimately make a decision that we're all moving forward with. That second piece of the second round is obviously on a little bit of a pause right now due to the current situation we have.
Sure.
But as soon as that happens, we do look to make an appointment very soon.
Now, you mentioned that you have spoken to members of the Karen community. You were invited to the event, I believe it was Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the conversations like? What were some of the questions that were asked? And how did those interactions go? And have you spoke to the family?
The last time I had an interaction with the family was the morning of the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, it was requested by their legal counsel that I don't speak with the family anymore.
Okay.
So I'm respecting that. So at the Tabernacle Church, they were present, but for example, even though it was known, the brother did want to ask me a question, but as much as I wanted to engage,
Sure.
I could not. The Tabernacle session, I think, was good. It was extremely needed.
Yeah.
There was a vast amount of people there to ask questions and make statements, and I was there to listen to them and understand what was going on in their minds. One of the things that I had mentioned was I was not there to tell them not to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there to tell them not to grieve. I didn't want to see them try to suppress anything. I wanted to hear from them, whether it was heartfelt anger, direct, positive, negative.
Yeah.
We did hear all of that. Okay. There were a lot of questions I couldn't answer because truly it's very awkward when I was in that position and I had to say, listen, this is a question I cannot be the arbiter for. This is at the hands of the Attorney General.
Yeah.
And at one point, because people continued to ask about the actual incident, I did break down and said, I'm not speaking about the incident right now, but I will talk about a scenario similar to. And some people acknowledged some of the new information that is out there. And perfectly accepted by me. A lot of people still are not, and may not, because one, this is an absolute tragedy, and I'm right there with them in that. But two, this is the first time something of this magnitude is happening within the Karen community since they have come here as a community, as refugees, right? So there's another level to this where you need to understand where they truly are within our community and the stage of, coming from Myanmar. The refugee camps not in Myanmar, for example, in certain circumstances, and they have come to this country from the
seeking
situation
refuge and being in a difficult situation. The point did arise on Saturday that there are very serious and dangerous scenarios that the community faces in their native country, and then to come here and have this happen, I mean,
right. And the reality is, listen, this wasn't that, right?
Yeah,
but you can't explain that right now. That's not even a conversation for the next 2 months. That's a conversation for 6 months when we start to continue the work we do as the city of Utica and the Utica Police Department and even fire in certain circumstances with not just the Karen community, but all of the different refugee communities that come through the center. That's why we leverage the center so much, is so that we understand the cultures, so that the cultures understand us, so that there aren't misinterpretations that lead to people feeling oppressed. And so that in certain circumstances, we don't do things that truly, if interpreted by that culture, would be interpreted as oppression.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Mayor Mike Galimi in studio. We appreciate his time coming in this morning to discuss the shooting death of Naim Wei. Now, speaking of the refugee center, Shelley and her gang there, they do a wonderful job. Have you been in regular communication with her, and have you leaned on her?
Police department has, my chief of staff has, and they were the ones who translated for the Karen community the police releases that could be read in their native language at the Tabernacle Church. So that's. But I mean, we were in contact with them prior as well. A couple months ago, we reached out from the Utica Police Department to the center, to the Karen community, to start setting up more interactions. One, because of activity we were seeing, but also so that we could have more outreach from the police department into the Karen community to build a better relationship. Obviously, now we're starting from less than zero.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to take a long time to rebuild that.
Yep.
So, Mike, I guess a couple questions. One is that I've seen that there's going to be a postponement of the 4th of July fireworks. One question, when is the possibility of that is going to happen? And secondly, is there a concern on your part in regards to, you've now got somewhat of a fractured community, right? Mm-hmm. Because people, we look at things through our own, that's the only eyes we can look through. And is there a concern that this creates maybe even a little bit more tension in regards to folks saying, now we're being punished, or it creates, I'm not saying an adversarial relationship or whatever it is, but more anger at the Karen population because their thing has been taken away.
All right. So we had a joint meeting yesterday. All of the involved public safety, departments, the county executive, myself, even the DA. Okay.
Yeah.
Sheriff, police chief, Vince Scalise. In that meeting, that was exactly one of my concerns. And it was reflected, but ultimately we made the decision we made because we had to have a 2-hour roundtable about this. Ultimately, it came down to 5,000 to 7,000 people in a park at night.
Yeah.
And the fact that this incident, it hasn't even been a week.
Yeah.
And a lot of the anger has already been directed at the police. We did see Saturday a protest that, while we practiced extreme restraint as far as the police department goes, and we just used words until it dispersed, 2 police cars were vandalized. Rocks were thrown at both the vehicles, the station, and the police officers. So we do not want to run the risk of ending up with like a Woodstock 99.
Yeah,
right?
or just
for different reasons.
Yeah, or just any type of extended unrest or opening yourself up to that vulnerable.
This is not a situation of we're trying to take something away, but like I said, that party in the park, if you look at from a bird's eye view, Proctor Park, it's all access from all sides. And then the other situation, if you think about it, is July 4th is publicsafety.com. You know, I'm being like flippant about it a little bit, but like every single public safety agency in their own region is overtaxed. If we were to end up in a situation, there isn't anyone else to call in.
Yeah, right.
So
well, I think
we had to make
abundance of caution is probably the smart move.
I think that's a great explanation.
With regard to this issue, is there anything else you want the public to hear or know from your standpoint?
How many seconds do we have?
You've got time.
I want to talk about watching that video. Because from the second, even though you know the outcome when you watch it, it becomes so final.
Yeah.
And from that point on, as just a person, even though I'm the mayor, I keep replaying it over in my head over and over again, every single piece of the footage. And every single time I watch it from the respect of how could we have made a different decision to stop that person from being deceased, right? From the result of a duty firearm being discharged. Now, I'm not speaking to any of the legal matters, any of the process, any of that right now.
Yeah.
Just as a person, right? That's at the hands of our professional, our investigations at both the AG's office, which is third party, and our professional standards. But as a person, I watched it and think back over the past year and a half. Okay. We had the Jeff Lynch situation, the security guard, and every single bit of the community, including, and I'm in the community constantly, whether it's through government or volunteering or what have you. I'm just engaged with the community.
And for those that don't know the Jeff Lynch incident, the security guard at the Proctor football game who was shot. Yeah.
From that point, and the vast majority of the people calling for the police to be, for example, like arrested right now, those were the people saying we need to start stopping all the kids and frisking all the kids. And we were like, well, we can't do that, but we can continue the police work we were doing. Then in January, 2 youth involved,
15 and 17.
Yeah, murders. Exactly. And those were, and then this, what's the common denominator? Youth with guns. Okay. Across all that. Okay. So there's that. Now, when I go through that video, you think of just the stop now. Okay. I'm looking at it at the perspective of every step. How could this have gone a different direction?
Yeah.
And they stop and you could see it. It's all out there now. And they ask, hey, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but can we check you for a weapon? And the kid bolts. Now, as a person, I want the police to chase that person right now, because if they do have a weapon and they were just asked that, I don't want at 11 p.m. in my neighborhood someone potentially running around in the neighborhood with a weapon.
Yes.
Okay. So they chase him. Then he draws a weapon, and does turn and point it. Now, at that point, I'm like, okay, what could change that scenario so it doesn't end up with the ultimate outcome, okay, that I never want to see and no one wants to see and everyone's grieving over. And they just continued to chase. They didn't fire at that point. I'm like, okay. Then at that point, though, I'm like, now I definitely want them to continue to try and pursue and bring this to a close, because now there's a known weapon running around in a neighborhood. Then they tackle him, and it's like one, maybe two blows are delivered, and you see, from one of the videos, one of the officers starting to stand up from that, and then ultimately the shots fired.
Yeah.
And every time I replay that, I go over every single aspect as a person, thinking about how this would play out. And I can't, there's so many people saying, oh, this could have been done differently. This could have been done differently.
But I think the dangerous part about that is that, and again, this is not me passing any type of judgment.
Yeah.
Unless you are, this is, maybe an unpopular thing to say, but unless you're a police officer and in that situation, that is a very difficult situation to Monday morning quarterback.
And
that's why in that situation,
and that's why I'm just going through it, because here's how I'm looking at this, right? And remember what I said way earlier in the interview. I have to, no matter what the AG says, right, and concludes, I still have, I can't help myself but to keep replaying this and saying, how could this have been different to stop another youth from perishing, right?
Yeah.
And from the very beginning of the entire situation, the common denominator is youth with guns.
Yeah.
But then just right to the end of the actual situation, still had the gun in his hand when that shot was fired. And it's just, that's what I'm seeing, right?
Yeah.
The AG will ultimately go through that. Our professional standards will ultimately go through that. So we have all the body cam footage. We have the video that the woman took on the porch. It's hard to say right now, but if people aren't also messaging to every kid right now, stop carrying a weapon, because forget all the details right now. You take a piece of wood and paint it black and put it in that
at
same situation,
night.
it doesn't change anything.
Right.
Because people keep talking about the fact that it's a pellet gun. I'm sorry, that's the other thing. Until that chamber was open, you couldn't tell it was a pellet gun.
Yeah.
It was a Glock. Okay.
The Glock actually makes that. They actually
Is it
manufacture.
licensed, or do they actually make
they
it?
license. If you look at one of the photos, the evidence photos, it's licensed by Glock.
Right.
Yeah.
I am just. Listen, it's the amount of sadness I have for this entire situation is incredible, but at the same time, I have to proceed with objectivity.
Yeah.
And that is what we're doing. That's why we're making sure every piece of this is in the public. Every piece of this is forward. Every single thing that is asked of us, we're cooperating with.
Sure.
And then ultimately, I need to and have to maintain a relationship with not just the community, but the Karen community, because they are going to be grieving. And through my expectation of them, they will not understand this. And that is okay, because hopefully time will, heal this.
And I think, with regard to time and learning and how things can be done, you can't change things, but
time can't bring someone back though, either.
Correct.
And that's why my message since last year, I sat with the governor personally and talked about this earlier this year and said, if we don't change the fact that kids are running around with guns, the inevitability is this will happen. Last year, we had a discussion about this, and I said, our biggest concern is not if this situation we're in now happens, when.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Well,
it's horrifying.
And I think the body cam footage situation will be, it just reemphasizes the importance of it for the police force, is that this will be a learning experience, I think, for everyone involved. Tim, and then then we'll come back with you, but we do have to break at some point.
Mike, I would say, talking about watching the video, and for those people that are Monday morning quarterbacks, there's a big difference between watching the movie and being an actor, right? I mean, those people that were in there in regards to it were having to make a decision kind of at that moment. Secondly, in regards to children and guns, I think Raise the Age has just been a disaster in many respects, and I think one of these is that now we're seeing guns being passed down to, they're almost child soldiers in a way, if you think about it, that, give the weapon to the young kid, because then...
No, we're not saying that this situation
we aren't. And I don't want in any way, shape, or manner.
But I'm right there with you. These are the discussions we were having and still are having on a consistent basis.
Yep.
That the current atmosphere of where our legislation sits in this state has absolutely created a situation of child enlistment,
right,
into that,
and in people that are have not a fully formed brain in regards to realizing what can happen when you pull that trigger.
Yeah. So
and it's not just that. This is totally not the same situation. But
right,
did you take driver's ed when you were a kid?
Oh, of course, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. One of the biggest things I remember from driver's ed was what to do if you're pulled over and you have to interact with the police.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the thing that my heart sinks to every single time I have to review that video, is that if he was frisked and that Glock pellet gun was taken off his person, he'd be here today.
Yep.
And especially within the scope of Raise the Age, he would have just walked the same night.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we do want to speak. We have a few other questions for you from the public here we'll get to in a minute, but we do have to break. I do understand the situation I put Bill in all the time with regards to getting to the commercial breaks. We do have to do that. We will be back with Mayor Mike Galimi coming up on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Comment tu t'appelles?
Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care. And that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
Summer is here, and it's time to fill your days with family fun. With the Seize the Deal 2024 Summer Fun Card, enjoy 9 amazing attractions at an unbeatable price for just $99. The Seize the Deal Summer Fun Card offers unique and exciting attractions for you and your family. 9 great summer adventures for only $99, including Get Air Trampoline Park. Get a 1-hour pass for a family of 4. Get Air Trampoline Park has thousands of square feet of wall-to-wall trampolines for jumping, bouncing, and flipping for hours of fun. Fort Ricky Discovery Zoo. Get admission for 4 people. Located in Rome, Fort Ricky Discovery Zoo offers engaging animal interactions with fun activities for kids of all ages. Peter Paul Recreation Park. Get 3 games of laser tag for 4 people. Prepare to be blown away playing laser tag with their massive surround sound arena at Peter Paul Recreation Park. Make this summer one to remember and get over $600 in savings with the 2024 Summer Fun Card. Limited number available, so get yours now for just $99 at seizethedeal.com.
New York State's largest selection of Purple mattresses are at Mattress Express right now for the 4th of July sale. Save up to $800 on select sets. Come in and try it before you buy it. We pull up the website and give you the same prices online. Go to mattressexpressny.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for the past 52 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedsantique.com.
For years now, people have been switching their wireless service to Pure Talk to save money. Just $20 a month, you get unlimited talk and text and tons of data. But more people are switching to Pure Talk, a veteran-owned company, to support the America's Warrior Partnership and their mission to help prevent veteran suicide. To make the switch, dial pound 250, say the keyword SAVE NOW, and you'll be connected to Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team. Make the switch, same service, save money, help vets, pound 250, keyword SAVE NOW.
Each store independently owned and operated and not part of a chain or cooperative buying group.
Summer starts here at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford and Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer. We're featuring some wonderful summertime wines and canned cocktails to cool you down this season. Check out 19 Crimes Martha's Chardonnay, regularly $12.99, now just $7.99 while supplies last. Faro 13 Link Brut Rosé was $13.99, and we're blowing it out for $4.99. Yes, just $4.99. We love Made in New York Talkhouse canned cocktail 4-packs. Compare at $12.99, now just $10.99. And try our hand-picked Fratelli Prosecco, regularly $12.99, now just $9.99. And everyone's favorite Matua Sauvignon Blanc was $12.99 and now is just $10.99. Plus, mix and match wine cases are 20% off now through July 7th, 2024. Let your summer start at Seneca Wine and Liquor in New Hartford and Valley Wine and Liquor in Herkimer.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
There's an issue cutting through the bipartisan bickering in Congress. It's AM radio. The overwhelming majority of legislators, Democrats and Republicans, support a bill to keep AM radio in cars. But time is running out. Text AM to 52886 and ask Congress to bring this bill to the floor for a vote now. AM radio is too important to let this moment pass us by.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
It's the 4th of July blowout at Mattress Express. Take up to 60 months to pay on anything in the store. Mattresses, massage chairs, you name it, with no money down. No money down for qualified buyers. See store for details. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
First News Keeler in the morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. Streaming on the free WIBX 950 mobile app and, of course, on YouTube. We have several people commenting this morning on YouTube and our app. We'll get to those comments right away. John on YouTube, back in the day, we lived by a code. If it was your job not to get caught and the cop's job to catch you, if you got caught, you weren't doing your job. And that won the day. The cops won the day, is the comment there. Also, Dana Naimi, only a good friend of the show. It is her birthday today. Happy birthday, Dana.
Birthday.
Happy birthday. She has a question, and I'm going to read all these comments and then let you get to them. I wonder if she gets
the Bronco for the day.
She always gets the Bronco if she wants. Dana's question, which we'll get to, is maybe ask my question about the safety of the involved officers, their families and homes. I'd be terrified right now. I heard their addresses have been shared. And we'll have you start with Lance and Lee's comment. Andrew, please ask Mayor Michaelimi if he thinks his micromanaging and clear lack of respect for his police chief at the news conference was a good look for the city. Why not let the man do his job? His constant interruptions made the chief look incompetent. That is Lance and Lee's comment.
Okay. Do you want me to address that?
Yeah, please.
That's not at all what happened. Thanks for interpreting it that way. But we were dealing with a lot of noise, a PA that could not get over the crowd. And as the mayor working with the chief, we both got that crowd under control so that I could make sure the chief could get his words across. And he was respected, and he is the chief of this city for the police department.
Okay, that was Lance and Lee's comment and your response. John in Bridgewater, when the mayor comes on, please ask him about a curfew in the city of Utica. It's too bad it came to this, but you got to do what needs to be done. Apparently, I'm not going to say this, John, just because of respect for what happened, but apparently they don't have to be home till something bad happens. So is there any talk of a curfew for the youth of the city?
No. Okay. And it was just brought up, so I just want to address it. Just my quick thought on that is you issue a curfew, now you have a bunch of kids with unneeded interaction with the police just simply because they're out. Okay.
Yeah,
and I was 14 when I was a kid too, and I was riding my bike from my friend's house. If that would literally create a situation where just being outside
would cause the interaction. It could lead to some certain issues.
So that's a whole different discussion.
And then we got to be quick on this. Dana's question about the safety of the officers. Are you concerned about that?
Yes, I brought it up earlier in the interview, and while the community's angry and grieving, it's completely unacceptable what they've done with the photos of the officers. It is.
Yeah.
This, as much as I have all the empathy in the world for the situation and the family and everything going on, these police officers are on paid administrative leave because this is process. This is due process. The AG is investigating this, and they were, even though it's completely unacceptable by many right now, doing their jobs. And now you have 3 people who can't walk around in the city or be at their homes, and their families can't feel safe either because people are taking it too far.
All right. And then one question we do have to ask, because Larry was asking me to ask it, is regard to the issue of transparency. Do you feel you should have held a press conference or came out to announce the arrest of a Utica City employee, in particular the codes officer who was arrested?
Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. It's just a codes officer. It's an employee. Every employee is important to the city, but it was a personnel matter. Other people have been let go since then as well. One of the things I stated when I ran for mayor is that I was going to create a more professional work environment. So when people are violating the handbook, our code of conduct, and our work policy, they are being fired or they're being asked to sign separation agreements, right? And I'm not going to do a press release and a giant thing every time that happens, especially if it's a personnel matter and it's union involved, and certain things could be interpreted as inappropriate or illegal when you are dealing with letting an employee go.
All right. Well, Mayor Mike Galimi, thank you so much for the extended time this morning and for answering all of our questions, some of them difficult. We always appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have you scoot over and let the man of the hour or the next 5 minutes, Vince Scalise, in. Vince, really nice and tight up to that microphone, please.
All right.
Talk to us a little bit about what is planned in the city of Utica. We have fireworks that are being postponed, but Vince Scalise, by the way, is the head of the Utica Center for Development, and you are kind of the organizational arm of the 4th of July Independence Day celebrations. The parade will still happen, but the fireworks postponed. Give us an update.
All right, so the parade is going to go off as scheduled, 10 a.m., Genesee Street in front of the former St. Elizabeth's Medical Center, moving northbound on Genesee Street, taking the right onto the Parkway, going east to the Parkway Senior Center, Rec Center. That's where the termination point is. The parade's going to be huge. We're also celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Utica Fire Department, so there's going to be a lot of fire apparatus. So if your kids like fire trucks and like the sirens, they're going to enjoy this parade. It's going to be huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of different classic cars in it. We even have the bull coming from the rodeo again. I know that was a big hit last year. So it's going to be a great parade. The weather's supposed to be nice, so please come down, enjoy it, bring your kids, and celebrate our the nation's birthday. The fireworks are postponed along with the party in the park. Unfortunately, we're still working on the rain date for that.
Yeah.
So hopefully once we could coordinate the date, I could come back on and let everybody know when we could hold that.
You're always welcome, but we always enjoy having you on. And, of course, Independence Day forecast looking pretty good. There may be some early morning rain showers, but then partly sunny skies expected with highs in the mid to upper 80s. So it's going to be hopefully real nice weather for that parade.
It should be. We had the same forecast on Memorial Day, and I know everybody got nervous because it was raining like 5 o'clock in the morning, but by the time the parade started, it was beautiful,
Yeah. So
and we had a great turnout. So we're hoping for another great turnout. Please, it's a great event. Like I said, the children are really going to enjoy it. The Utica Fire Department has done a great job in recruiting a lot of other departments to come in and, march down Genesee Street with them to celebrate their 150th. So please come on down. Make sure the kids have their bags. There's always candy and toys being thrown out. So it's going to be a great event.
Yeah. So everybody should come down and support. And while this is a time that we need to reflect on and mourn the loss of this child and the terrible situation surrounding it, it's still Independence Day, and we're allowed to celebrate and enjoy. And I think there has to be a little bit of that because unfortunately life goes on, and that needs to be done, I think. Talk a little. Oh, sorry, Tim.
Let the bull out with the crowd, do you?
No.
Everybody, don't wear your red.
Yeah.
Wear the white and blue.
It's a very tame bull.
All right.
It's probably like 50 years old. You don't have to worry about it getting dangerous.
Yeah, you can wear the white and blue, but the red might be a bad idea.
Exactly.
We don't have a lot of time left, but we just talk briefly about what it is that you do at the Utica Center for Development and all that you do to help veterans in the area.
Well, our number one focus is veterans, and we do provide veterans housing to homeless veterans, but we also have a lot of other programs there, including youth programs. Now that summer's out, our gym at the former YMCA is open daily for the youth. It's supervised by adults, so that the youth could come down and utilize our gym for free. It doesn't cost them anything. We also do programs for those with developmental disabilities. 80% of our operation is veteran services for veterans and families, but we do have the youth programs and the services for disabled individuals.
Well, of course, you are a veteran and still an active member of the National Guard.
I retired. I've been 2 years next month.
Well, I remember. Yeah. So also too, if you don't remember, Vince had the
photos, right?
The photos of every sitting U.S. senator. You did get all 50, correct?
All 100.
All 100, yeah.
I got,
of course, sorry.
All 50
states
yes,
is what I meant.
I do, and if you're ever down in Center, my retirement gift was I have a huge picture on my wall in my office with me with every single
the collage of all of them?
very big collage. That's what I got for my retirement gift from the Army. So.
That is awesome. Well, Vince Scalise, we always appreciate you coming on, and thank you for all you're doing in the organization of this, your organization organizing this Independence Day celebration. Little bit of a postponement, understandably, to an extent. I think people need to understand that maybe it's in the best interest of the safety of the public to do this, but the postponement of the fireworks, they will happen. We will have the party in the park. We just need to wait a little bit longer, but get out and enjoy the parade. It starts at 10 a.m. from St. Elizabeth Hospital.
Correct.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. As we're coming up on the at the top of the 9 o'clock hour here, I want to thank you, Tim Reed, for stepping in.
Thanks.
You've done a masterful job as always. I want to thank everybody for bearing with us through some of the Bill absence hiccups that occur sometimes when he's away. Thank you, Davey, in there for all of your support. We will be off tomorrow through Friday. Best of tomorrow, some awesome Fox programming specials for 4th of July on Thursday, and then we'll have best of again on Friday. Bill will be back on Monday.
So I want to push one thing the mayor just told me. He is running the Boilermaker. He's running the 15K, and he's running with the 1832 bib, which is the year the city of Utica started. So,
all right. Yeah. Wonderful. We'll look for him and cheer everybody on. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a safe Independence Day weekend.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information that you should know regarding your estate planning. Specifically, you should have prepared what is known as the Big Three. Basic estate planning is comprised of the three main documents that you need. First is the will, next is the healthcare proxy, and last is the power of attorney. What most people don't know is how important of the three the power of attorney really is, because New York State has no simple method for you to act on another's behalf if they become incapacitated. I am often asked, what is probate and why is it needed? Probate is the act of administering the will through the New York State court system. It requires a filing fee and other actions to be taken, as well as a petition to be filed. It is time-consuming and can be expensive. It can be avoided by using a living trust. To find out